Oh, hey there, buddies. We're in it. Harnberg on the 29th of February. Leap day. Leap something. Rabbit.
I don't think we should have to work.
Why'd you show up? Just out of respect for us.
Hear me out here.
Okay.
If you're employed and you get a salary,
Yeah.
you're not getting paid for this shit.
It's an extra day they've added on.
It does feel like
Bad.
an extra day, yeah.
I'm all about doing less days, not more.
Yeah.
These efficiencies. About efficiency.
This is some bullshit.
There's some bullshit. Now, the astronomers and the scientific people and the HR people will say, no. We've been giving you a third of a day off the last 3 years so that you could work this one.
Yeah,
We've
but we
been
know
paying
they're
you for that
ignorant.
third of a day.
They're ignorant, lying pricks.
Yeah,
Right,
like who
yeah.
were the nerds that came when
So what they found
we're
out.
throwing the calendar together?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, 30 and 31, dodgy to begin with. Like, why is one?
The months make no sense to me. That's a fair point.
There's 12. Why not 11? Why not 10? Nice round. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, somebody comes in. We're going to do every 4 years. We're going to throw an extra day into
Just a
February.
bonus day.
It's like, little settle down, nerd.
And why do we have months with 31 when February's sitting at 28?
February's got 28.
Even the shit out.
Get your shit together.
Now,
Whoever does this.
the leap day thing does make sense. The months don't make any sense to me because it takes 365 and a quarter day for us to do a lap around the big hot thing.
Is that how it is?
Yeah. That's why every 4 years they give you another.
Because you spin, but while you're spinning, you're also revolving.
And
It's
then
one
our
of the most
universe-
amazing things, actually.
It really is,
You ever- That Neil Tyson deGrasse
Yes.
guy.
Yeah.
I heard him talk about it once. He goes, the fact they figured this shit out
Mm-hmm.
to that exact
Yeah.
a figuring back.
Some dude in
Do some
Egypt
ciphering.
8,000
Yeah.
years ago figured this shit out
Yeah,
based on
some
looking
guy
at the stars.
lying on the grass, staring
Yeah.
at the stars. He figured, okay,
Yeah.
huh.
Because it all starts with the what do you call because you do the thing with the light, the sun, right?
Yeah.
The sundial. That's what I'm trying
Okay.
to think. So if it starts here and then it starts to move and then it's back there again.
Mm.
It feels like about the same. Like
I thought you were
What
doing a
the same-
shark fin for a second there. That's Pinder Report later. We got a
T-taw,
really,
T-taw.
really good shark one for you
something
today.
like that. This is what people tuned in for.
Oh yeah,
Not
today
Tanev
especially.
Trade
Did Tanev get traded?
speculation.
No,
No,
Neil Tyson deGrasse. We're trying to get him on.
spin it around to Grass Tyson, but yep,
Whatever.
Yep.
Same shit, different pile.
he is smart though.
They
Too
talk on
smart.
weekends. They have nicknames for each other. Yeah.
He's so
He
smart.
calls him Warner Rhett. It's kind of a thing. they
Yeah.
got.
Well, I don't know if he's an astronomer or if he's ever,
Can we turn these down?
I'm not sure how it works, but he is a highly intelligent and respected gentleman and joins us on the TELUS Insider Hotline.
Already.
Enter to win one of 6 monthly prizes, including tickets to Calgary hockey games, awesome tech like AirPods, Apple Watches, and more. No purchase necessary. All you have to do is fill out a quick survey to enter.
Ooh.
For your chance to win, go online, telus.com/flames contest. And Summer, he'll be very near the the TELUS lounge there over at the Saddle Dome. There is Jamie McLennan,
Oh, look at that.
our
I am-
Wednesday guest on a Thursday. Look at this.
Tootsie's lid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I got that on Tuesday night. You get that
Oh.
if you eat a free bowl of soup there. I think.
I
I
was
don't
going
know.
to say
But
you get it for something. Yeah.
honestly, I got to be honest. I've been listening. What the hell were you guys talking about? Like, it wasn't even making sense. It was.
Today is February. It's February 29th, and we're trying to figure out why is there 29,
It's 31 another
there's
month.
31,
30 here,
28
there.
ordinarily. It makes no sense.
But
Noodles.
then there was a sundial. There's Neil deGrasse Smith or something. I'm not even like a lot of times when I'm in the waiting room, it's called or whatever. I feel like I can pick up on the conversation. I'm like, I am so lost. I'm not an astronomer. I feel like I took astronomy in university for 1 year in junior, just as like a throwaway or something. I was not very good at it, but there's nothing I can contribute to that conversation. Like sometimes you can jump in and go, hey, I've got something to add. I have zero to add when it comes to February 29th.
But this is where it all starts. We're all getting screwed. You're getting screwed too because we're working and it's an extra day and you don't get paid for it.
You're working
That's
one
the
more
point.
day this year, Noodles. You getting paid extra this year? Or you getting the same?
Did you call the boss and say, listen,
I never
Dopey.
thought of it.
Extra
Thought of it that way.
See?
I never
We got
thought
you
of it
back.
that way. So now I'm involved in the conversation.
That's right.
I never thought. So this is a year that goes 366 days. So I
That's
never
right.
thought about. So do we need to bill a little extra? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like you could probably slide that in there. There's some organizations where it's like, yeah, go ahead. We'll bill you, and there's others. It's like, no, you are lucky to have a job. So there you go. Like you just eat it and smile. So I might be on the latter. I'll just eat it and smile. But at the end
Wasn't
of the
that
day,
a David Lee Roth album? He Didn't Smile. I think that was his first solo album, something like that.
it is. I think
Yeah.
it was something
think
like
so.
that.
Something
What's
like
going
that.
on?
Well, we're asking you. Look at he's got the down in the Flames room. Got some electrolytes going. Is that what we got?
Definitely need electrolytes. I will say that. Yeah.
Yeah, we need the day one update because you got into town yesterday. It's you can feel the town buzzing as all of the old, out of shape hockey players make their way back to Calgary. Day one yesterday. How'd you manage?
It was good. You know what? Caught up. Nice dinner. Went to Caesar's Steakhouse. And
What'd you
good
go with? What'd
steak.
you eat? What'd you have?
I always just go with the filet mignon, butterflied, little medium well type of thing. They got great food. The problem is, I'll tell you a funny story. I've loved Caesar's since like the 90s. And I was playing for the St. Louis Blues. We were playing the Flames. And I went for dinner with a couple of the guys. But Pierre Turgeon was like, we have to go to this steakhouse. We have to go. So I go with Turge, and we get in there. And he's obsessed with the garlic cheese toast or the cheese toast.
That's a banger.
He had 7 baskets. Himself,
play that
7. It was a night before the game. I'm like, I don't know if I've never witnessed anybody eat 7 baskets of bread before a steak, but it was unbelievable. The baskets just kept coming, and I'd like take one little strand out of it, and then I would turn, and it would be gone, and he'd be like waving to the waiter, like more.
Monsieur.
So, yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
so,
Well,
7
gonna say,
baskets of cheese toast.
If you were in the Eastern Conference, it'd be like, we get here once every 4 years. I'm having 8 baskets of bread. Well, St. Louis comes a little more often. The schedule's changed, but
Yeah, and that the funny part about that was the night before the game. After the game, there was a carrot because we played here Wednesday and we didn't play again until like Saturday in Edmonton. So the coach came in and said, you guys win, have the day off tomorrow or whatever. And we ended up winning. And he said, okay, guys, curfew, nobody in before 2 a.m. And it's like, okay, that's a green light.
Who was the coach? That's epic. Nobody in before 2.
I think it was Q. I'm trying to remember if it was Keenan or Q or one of the two, but like it was kind of like just we had a really tight team. It must have been Quenneville, but
I was going to say that feels more like a Quenneville. That's a Quenneville thing. But yeah.
Well, I mean, Mike is I had Mike in St. Louis. I had him in Florida, and then I worked with him at the Flames when I retired. He added me kind of to his coaching staff at the end of the season that one year. Like Mike is a lot more fun than people like. He behind the scenes really funny, very sharp-witted. Everything was calculated with Mike. It'd be I would laugh like it'd be 0-0 after the first period. We sitting in the coach's room, and out of nowhere he'd just go, "Out of hell with this, watch this," and he'd go into the room and just start like tear a strip off somebody, like, you haven't done anything today, And then he'd come back into the room and be like, did you like that? And he would laugh. Like it was funny. Everything was calculated to try and get more out of the guys. So I was a big Mike fan from the way he conducted business. But yeah, I think it was Q that said, boys, go have a good time. And we did. And, when you have a winning team, you get to do things like that.
So with Kipper in town, the ceremony goes on Saturday. Rhett was saying yesterday, there's already talk because some guys are aging, right? It was 25 years ago. Guys are 25 years younger then. Maybe one night on, one night off, kind of pacing themselves. What's your
little gap night?
What's your tell on how this is going to go?
I mean, it depends on the individual, but I am making sure that Kipper is not doing anything Friday night just because you need him fresh for Saturday.
The movies.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't mean that I won't be able to make sure, and I'll be checking curfew on everybody, but I think it's more individual. Like, I came in yesterday, just kind of steak a little bit, laughs, a couple beers, that type of stuff. Like, I think, it's a slow burn, slow build. And you're right. Like, now that we're pushing 50, some of us are north of 50, some of us look 60 and they're only 45. That'll be the funny thing. Like, it'll be hard in my speech to not kind of take a shot at some of the guys who are on the ice, especially if they're, if Father Time has not been kind to them. So we'll see. I'm going to try and be pointed with my remarks, but if some guy, has put on an extra 50 that we didn't know, like he might be a surprise beekeeper that we didn't realize, and I might have to announce that. So,
or 240 Gordy, as Rhett has referenced. Now, Rhett, what are you wearing?
I am concerned with my
attire,
dress code.
I don't wear suits. I don't have nice clothing. I think these pants were from my last season of play. Like, I'm in trouble if I have to dress up. Can I just wear a Kipper jersey?
I think you should, because that, it can be loose fitting. That way you're leaving people to guess like what's going on underneath there. If he fills it out, if he doesn't fill out, because I saw you look good. You're in good shape. Actually, I thought when we had a beer in Toronto, like, we all go through phases, skinny, fat, skinny, fat, all of that type of stuff. You looked really good. So I think what you should do, I got a funny story too. And it was right when I, first retired, I was getting management or doing whatever, answering to Daryl, and randomly they called me and said, "Hey, can you go to Abbotsford tomorrow to take a look at some of the goalies and do some stuff?" And I'd gone out late the night before and woke up late for my flight, get to the flight, and I get to my hotel room in Abbotsford, and they got a game that night, and Daryl had come down, and I think all the scouting staff, everyone was there, and I took a nap. I get up and I go to the rink, and I'd forgot my suit. So I literally just had I thought my suit was in the bag. I didn't. I'd opened the bag. Nothing's in there. So I'm like an hour from the game. Like, what do you do? So I went to Walmart. I did not know that you could buy suits at Walmart. And the funniest thing, so I go in, there's like a full thing for like $50. It's like a suit, the jacket, the pants, the shoes, the tie, the shirt. It was like $49.99. And all I had, it was like large. And I was like, my arms are a little bit, like it was just L. So I try it on. The pants are a disaster. I had to use a belt and wrap them around. I had to fold them up underneath because they were too long. The shoes were fine. And then the coat was really short on my arms. So I did kind of put the coat over my arm, and then I had the dress shirt on, and I put the tie on. So it was decent. So we're sitting in the luxury box that night and just kind of hanging out, talking about players. And I made sure to sit, and I was just kind of had the jacket kind of over, my arm. And then I put it on, and Dwayne Sutter walks by, and he's like, "God, what a great suit." And I go, "Yeah, it's awesome, dog. It's great." And I was so rattled because I didn't want anybody to see it. So he kind of pulls on the sleeve. It's like, "Man, nice suit." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." And I went down to the coaching staff afterwards. We were having a beer, and it was Jimmy Playfair and Jared Bednar. And I told them the story. I'm like, "Guys, I'm wearing a Walmart suit here. I forgot mine at home." They were dying laughing because it was just one of those things. So, Rhett, I think you can go to Walmart.
I'm going to go to Walmart today. Saturday. See if I could squeeze into a large.
And you'd be looking at Dwayne. It's like, is he screwing with me, or is he? No, he's being honest.
Because in Viking, that would have been a nice suit, but he also lived in New York. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. At this point, I might have to ask Dog did he know or did he not know? He might have been messing with me, Yeah,
I figured he probably was being honest. Did you tell him? Did you say, well, you too could have something like this if you played your cards right?
Yeah, for $49. I think I threw the suit out. I'm not lying. I don't think it made it back to Calgary on the flight the next day. I just left it in the hotel room.
Just the option you take right there.
It's a disposable suit. That's it. One night only. That's what it was.
In Japan, they have vending machines on the street, and you can literally pull out a white dress shirt that'll disintegrate by about noon the next day. But the dudes will get all piled up and I gotta go to work. Pull it out of the vending machine and go. That's the move.
You can buy anything in Japan from a vending machine. Ask Retro, and I think, even myself, when I lived in Japan, I bought chicken nuggets from a vending machine. you watched it like cook right through the window, and then it like dropped down into a little basket. I don't know why I did that. Like, I don't know what the repercussions were, but I probably was on the John later that night. Who knows? But it was chicken nuggets out of a machine in Japan.
And you've done worse. So,
Oh, yeah.
So there's that.
True.
So you're at the Dome. Are you prepping for the ceremony for Saturday? What's happening?
Yeah, that's kind of a little dry run, I think. So I'm kind of going to get the lay of the land here in a little bit and kind of figure out what's going on. And like I was laughing. So I think it was one of the scribes, maybe Eric Francis or somebody, like tweeted out like I lost a bet because Kipper actually landed in Calgary. I think there were some people like the over under whether he was going to show up or not. So he is here, which is great. Because wouldn't that have been the ultimate troll job? Like, just disappear on Saturday night type of thing. But
no, the ultimate troll job is landing and then not showing up on Saturday.
Yeah,
we aren't there yet. And the line is set at 0.5 Kippers. So you can go over or under. 0.5 is the line here.
Yeah, well, then you're right. You know what? It's too early to tell. It's only Thursday, so we'll see. But so we're going to do the ceremony and all that. And, I've got my show today, and then we'll see what happens tonight.
Did he catch any fish?
No, apparently. First of all, I'm like, isn't it really warm out? Like, are you scared to go on ice right now, like on a lake or something? Wouldn't the car, like, if you drive on a lake, wouldn't that car go in type of thing?
We were minus 20 a day ago. You just missed it, buddy.
Okay, then yeah. So apparently they drilled, they went in, but there was nothing. They weren't even scraping carp off the bottom of the bottom of the whatever it's called, the sea. There's no sea. What is it? A lake?
Yeah,
a
definitely
lake.
not a sea. There's a river and there's lakes.
Okay, so there was a lake.
Edmonton, too.
Yeah, exactly. The North Saskatchewan ran through St. Albert, Alberta.
Yeah.
I once pulled a shopping cart out of it. That was it. That's the only time I've ever done anything with lakes or water.
You and Bubbles hauling shopping carts out of the water.
I got a great stash over here in the ravine.
So you're down at the Dome. The Chris Tanev deal gets done last night. Now I'm not sure even who's around, but any sense of the mood? It's always tough when a beloved veteran gets moved out of town.
You know what? I ran into a couple of guys last night, just a little stop and chat, and you could tell in talking to them, like, I don't know if disappointed. They know, it's like, it's going to happen when it happens. It's like, it happened. So now where do we go from here?
Now you're talking about the players or management, Noodles? Sorry.
No, I ran into a couple of the players last night, just kind of literally on the street, like, hey, what's up? And so we're BSing, and like that was the sentiment was like, hey, you know what? It's news today. I think they have a day off today. They're doing some PR stuff. Yep. So it was, I think 2 days from now, so practice at Friday will be different. That's when guys will come in and it'll hit them. It's like, okay, that stall's empty. Tanev's not here. Is that the beginning of, maybe two more moves, one more move? What's going to happen here? That's when, around the trade deadline, when things happen, you're always thinking about it. And once it happens, it's like, okay, reality's setting in. What's this team going to look like? And the thing is, too, and Rhett, you can speak to it, you still got to play. You still got to be a pro. That's the hardest part. When a friend is out of the dressing room, like in instance, it is slightly like a death, because your friendship with that person is not going to, you might be a lifelong friend with them, but it's changed because you're not going to see him every day. You're not going for dinner next week on the road. He's going to be in a different city. So that's where you kind of mourn that relationship, how it changes with the person. For example, like when I got traded out of Calgary, Rhett's a close friend, Robin, Kipper and that, but you're not seeing them every day. You're not in the fight with them every day. Friendship doesn't change. You'll still be lifelong friends, but it just changes the way you interact.
And you just know it's bound to, and you look back on it, and every time it happens. I still remember the time in Buffalo where they did the same sort of thing the Flames are doing, where they dumped a bunch of veteran guys, Chris Gratton, Stu Barnes, Rob Ray. All of a sudden, you're going to the rink, and those guys that you were kind of your core that you hung out with were gone. You're like, ooh, this is a different feel.
It's hard not to kind of pout and feel sorry for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
You're still buddies with all the other guys. It's still a team, and it's that, but there's a big change. It's kind of the guy, and for us, we were all veteran guys at that point. We were kind of the sounding boards. Like Stewie was the captain.
Yeah,
like you got right, all veteran guys that had A's or letters or had been there, were important pieces of that room, are gone, and you're sitting there going, "Oh, I've lost my sounding boards."
Well, also too, the guys who come in, there's no guarantee you know them. There's no guarantee that you'll hit them off with them from a friendship standpoint right away. Like the NHL is still a small community. You know, a guy can't come in the room without knowing somebody who's played with them or knows him and all of that. You can make a quick phone call to somebody you know on that team and it's like, what's this guy all about? And chances are nowadays you get a text from him going, hey, you know, take care of my boy, this guy, he's a good dude or whatever. But what if the kid you trade for is 20 years old, never played in the league, and he's scared to be in the NHL, and it's his first process, and you're a 32-year-old grizzled vet. You're not going to be friends with this guy right away. You're going to try and help him out, but those relationships change, and there's no guarantee that you're just going to hit the ground running, and that's off the ice. On the ice, you have no chemistry with this guy. You're going to have to learn their tendencies and their habits. So it is disruptive. We'll see how quickly they can get back to playing, the way they've been playing, because they played very well.
I keep thinking about what Noah Hanifn's going to be looking like and people looking at him like he's dead man walking in that building, right? You got 9 days until the deadline, and everyone knows he's continually spurned the overtures of the Flames on an extension. This guy's going to get moved. And it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And to give him credit, like he hasn't been playing like this has been bugging him. He's having a career year, we sort of think. But that's the guy where every interaction around the dome has got to be weird for everyone else. He's like, this guy's not had beer in a week.
Yeah. And also, too, at what point do you to protect the asset? You know, like, God forbid this guy takes a slap shot. He's boxing somebody out in front of the net and takes one off the ankle or something. Like, to me, if there's something that's pending, you got to be mindful because, and I know you can't bubble wrap guys, but if you feel like you've got a really good deal on the table for that particular player, does it help or hurt you to have him continue to play? And
you were saying it, Dean. They play 2 at home, and then they play Florida, Tampa, and Carolina, 3 games in 4 nights. You're not letting anyone get on that plane.
I just don't.
The day before the deadline.
You may as well just stay in Calgary
or fly where you're going.
If somehow there's no deal done, then you can meet us in Miami or whatever the case may be. But so that's 2 games, Saturday and then Monday.
Yeah, I would do that too, just based on, the scenarios, because you would almost have to go to him if he was coming on the road trip and it's business as usual. It's like, pack a little heavier because you're not coming back here type of thing. Right. And, I got traded when we were in Dallas, and I had to have our flight attendants who I was really close with, they actually mailed me some clothes, like helped out with the process because
Walmart?
I couldn't go to Walmart in New York. Right, so it was, but they helped me. But you get traded on the road, that's what you're stuck with. And, that was 6 weeks or 2 months to the end of the season. I wasn't going to see my place. And, so it's a big adjustment with Hanifn. If he knows it's coming, you have to pack accordingly or act accordingly, depending on whether you're on that trip or not.
This Tanev one is interesting because we've seen the trades when Zadorov was moved, no warm body came back, but it felt like the room was going to be okay with Nikita leaving.
Yes.
And I think there was a bit of a pout factor with Elias Lindholm, and you heard from, tongue in cheek, kind of guard a little bit, but Blake Coleman kind of said there were some guys that didn't want to be here. Well, they're gone now. And it seemed like they thrived after that. This feels a little bit different. This is one of them. This is one of the guys.
Yeah, the guy that wanted to be here. It's just his contract. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm torn on this because if he wanted to be here, wouldn't he have signed a while back? Like, wasn't there dialogue that kind of went? Like, I'm not sure if you'd have to walk me through the time. Yeah,
not
like
Tanev's 34 here. Like,
the
next deal's not the one that Connie wants to be paying him on.
Right, and you're right. Like with Tanev is a different situation. I was more leaning towards Hanifn because, like, if Hanifn having a career year, if you wanted him to stay, he would. If he wanted to be here, he would be here. With Tanev, absolute warrior. The guy you want in the room, the classiest. Like, there's no negative about Chris Tanev whatsoever, other than the fact that you do have to put your business hat on and go, what is he going to look like 3 years from now, 2 years from now? Yeah, exactly, at 36. So those are the hard decisions. And maybe there's no guarantee that you don't give him an opportunity to go, and you look at him this summer on his marketplace, and he comes back on maybe a 2-year deal or 3-year deal, depending on what you're willing to pay at that particular time, once you have an idea what your team's going to look like moving forward. So that would be one thing I would say, and I haven't heard anything from the media standpoint or him talking in the media as, would he close the door to coming back? I don't know. Like that might be something you look at.
Yeah, my guess is probably not. I think that he'd be one of those guys that would entertain that. This is also the first kind of blow, and it sounds disrespectful to Lindholm, but Sharon Govich moved to the middle and took Lindholm's spot, and they kind of moved from within. They're not in a spot where they can just replace Chris Tanev. You can put somebody in that pairing, but it's not.
Shillington comes into the top 4.
It's not a reasonable facsimile, and then there's going to be some drop for sure.
Yeah.
This is a team that has won 4 straight games. They're still really very much mathematically in a push. You can't, as a GM, you're not going in there and saying, guys, keep going. It's just kind of it's got to feel like a kick in the stones, even if you knew it was coming, you're ready for it. It's like, shit, we're so close to getting in. And now Hanifn's going to go too. Like, damn it.
Like if you're Coleman or Cod, you're like,
yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, both of them have won. Both of them understand this game. You got to be a pro. Last I checked, I always say this, I come back to it. First and the 15th, it doesn't matter. Like you get paid. Money goes in. You got to be a pro. And yes, you're right. To see a guy that walk out the door that you don't have, he's not getting pushed out the door because there's a kid that's sliding into that spot and you got to make room for him. It's a business decision. Hanifn's going to be one. I don't even know if excuse me, if Markstrom's still a player or not in all of these talks. Like this team can look a lot different a week from now or 10 days from now. Wake up and there could be multiple players go out, or maybe the asking price or the deal's just not there for some of them. And obviously Hanifn you got to sort out, but other situations, there might be a team that floors you for a player. You're like, oh, I didn't realize that guy might be available, and maybe Connie has to entertain it. So I think teams are going to have to be extremely creative heading into this deadline now, because it's got to be money in, money out, or you're going to have to use third parties to kind of, we'll call it launder money through.
Jersey got a 4th rounder for basically $300,000 a real salary. That's a tidy bit of work that they were the third party in that Tanev deal.
Right. That's what you're looking at too. Is, it's interesting, Jersey. So if Jersey's still looking at a goalie, are they looking at UC Saros? Are they looking at Jacob Markstrom? I did the Nashville game the other night, hence the Tootsie's Toque. And they've won 6 in a row. They look like, I think they might get that last spot. Like they're a pretty darn good team. What they are is balanced. Like their D are really rock solid. Like that's.
What do they do with Carrier? He's up this summer, and that's a really sneaky, attractive defenseman because he's a right shot guy, and I think he's sort of come into a little more prominence behind all those epic Nashville blue lines forever.
I would, if I'm Toronto, if I'm Edmonton, I'm looking at him as a potential upgrade guy that can slot. I don't know what his ceiling is.
Yeah.
If he's a 4 or if he's maybe a 5, or I don't see him as a 2 type of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
But, if you're Edmonton, are you looking for an upgrade on Cody Ceci to push him down, right? So maybe.
But Nashville would move him if they're in a playoff spot. We saw it last year, right? They traded and got in.
I think they would. Plus, this is what it comes down to: is business. This is business, and you've got to get. You don't want assets walking out the door for nothing. So if there's no extension that's reasonable in place, you got to move the player. Or if you're comfortable enough, and he's like, hey, let's just kick the can down to this summer, but I want to stay here. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in that anymore, though, because things change so much. Like, to me, you have to, by the deadline, if you've got an expiring asset and he's not coming back, you got to move him for something. Ottawa's doing, like I do these Ottawa games, like Ottawa's got some stuff on their plate to deal with. Not just the injuries. Josh Norris and Shabbat got hurt the other night. Like they're in one right now again. But like got Tarasenko, Kubalik, Travis Hamonic really, he's been a healthy scratch. He was in the lineup the other night and, had a really kind of a tough gaff where he fell down and Yossi went in and scored, and that was the back-breaking goal, right? So, there's some big decisions to be made on a lot of these teams.
Like Conroy's quietly done a pretty good job here, and you could debate what the return is. And Frank Seravalli had it. You can want to hold out for a first, but it sure feels like it was a second and a prospect or something.
A kid that was a second 2 years ago, right?
Like this is a second round pick for Chris Tanev, and obviously there was seemingly the recognition, which is why it gets done a little bit over a week ahead. But we sat here when the job was first his. It's like, you've got a lot of work to do, and we've talked about it. So how are you going to get all the trades done? Are you going to wait until the deadline and then it's Lindholm? How are you doing all this? Well, he's chipped away at it, and it seems like everybody feels like he did well in the Lindholm deal. Jury's out on this one, but you get a second and a
Foley deal's a win.
Seemingly a player they're high on to a certain degree. So now you've got Hanifn to do in the next 9 days. So I think he's done a pretty good job here.
I think so too. And the one thing I've liked, and us being in the media, I talked to my insiders at TSN, and you're like, why is the marketplace like? Why is it kind of stalled? And they're like, Calgary's kind of driving the bus, and everything's kind of going through Calgary. And I'm like, great. I like the fact that Connie hasn't folded to the pressure of the marketplace. He's a rookie GM. Guaranteed, there's managers that are trying to, sneak away or maybe win a deal here or there. You're always trying to win deals, but it's more, he's not getting bullied into a situation going, got to move this player, like the marketplace. If not, I'll move on to player X. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. Call me if you want my player. Like, I think Connie's done a really good job, like just kind of waiting the marketplace out. I think he's maximized. If that's the best deal that you're getting for Chris Tanev, he's obviously studied the market. So if he moves him to Dallas, guaranteed the other players that were in on Tanev, they weren't offering as much. As far as, I don't know who would have been in, but it's rumored in Toronto. I'm sure Tree and Connie talked a lot about it. Tree probably wasn't offering what Connie got for Tanev.
Well, he doesn't have the second round pick, right? That was the whole thing with the Leafs, is they didn't have that second round pick. So,
well,
it feels like a guy that Connie's keyholed in on, that he really liked and that the team has been fond of for a while, and he's had a lot of staff watching him. Like, the ceiling is not high here, but the intangibles, the character, like, Connie sees something here. This is not a well-regarded prospect relative to a lot of top prospects around the league, but I bet you Connie's much higher on him than the consensus.
Which is fine, because I don't know, when he made the Toffoli trade, like who was high on
Sharon Govich.
Sharon Govich. I was going to say Sharon Povich, that. So who was high on him? Like you started looking at his hockey DB, going, a couple of years ago he scored 20. He's been a nice fit.
Yeah.
You're like, what is he? Well, you give him some bandwidth to grow, and that was the one thing. You got faster. You got a guy who could produce on the power play, and, he's a versatile player. So, it's what the manager sees or envisions the fit and how the pieces of the puzzle fit for his organization. So I like the moves. They got to get Kuzmenko going. Like, I think he's a guy that is still in a bit of an enigma. He's, I wouldn't want to say one-dimensional, but he's more one-dimensional than not. And I think, you get him into some structure, you get him comfortable. Maybe he's a guy you can turn into a trusted everyday player. It's not just a guy who can put the puck in the net, but you need more, some intangibles. So I think Connie's done a really good job, and we'll see, what he continues to get for some of these players.
So just the three trades he's done this year, he's added a first in the Lindholm deal, a second in the Tanev deal, a third that is in both the Zadorov deal in 2026, a conditional Dallas one, a fourth from Vancouver that can turn into a third, a fifth from Vancouver for Zadorov. Like, he's almost added a full draft class here. Never mind the prospects attached, the players here. Like, that, he basically has 2 draft classes this year to work with.
Well, and the other thing too, I was asked by a manager the other day about, like, some of these players. These are currency. You can get to the draft and you can move them for live bodies too if there's other teams that don't have those picks. So you can go to a team that's either cash strapped or, needs a pick in that round and go, I really like this guy. So now you start picking at their rosters, because there's going to be teams that go all in here at the deadline and they're not going to have picks. So if you've banked a lot, I would say, Montreal is the same situation. They're banking a lot of, currency. You're going to get to the draft. You're going to be able to sell some of that for live players to fill out your roster again. Or you might be able to steal a player based on a cap crunch somewhere else from an organization. So I think Connie's done a really good job, but it's more on his time frame, which has been impressive for me.
Do you know if the Flames have they hired an orchestra or anything to start playing music if you go too long on your speech, kind of like at the Oscars?
Oh, right.
Got the hook. That's a hook.
Listen, I'm going to show you something.
Puck drop.
There's the ice. I've been pulled enough on this ice time.
You just get the look. He knows. Shit, it's happened again.
They might have Daryl come out and pull me one last time just for fun. But
one of those huge hooks. I love it.
Yeah, the big hook. Now I don't know what the parameters are. I mean, I think there's an over/under if you had a betting company of how long Kipper Speech is going to be.
What would you set the line at?
3 minutes.
That feels like the under's a safe bet.
I would go under, maybe.
Under.
I don't know. Him too is like English being a second language too, right? So he's gonna and he might slow the process down a little bit, like just kind of because I didn't know this. I heard did Chelios talk for like 40 minutes the other day?
It was a big one.
It was a long one, yeah.
Somebody told me last night it was like 48 minutes or something. And I was joking last night with Kipper. I said, "Did you hear it like that?" He goes, "Jamie, like that's not happening." Like
that's the expect. That's the expect now.
Yeah.
Mika.
Well, I think to Mika's personality, everything it'll be short and sweet. Thank some people and move on. And hey, nothing to see here. I'll see you guys in another 20 years type of thing. Like that'll be Mika in a nutshell. But I'm looking forward to it. I still haven't finished my speech. I'm about 60% done. I'm like struggling with how to fit.
It's not a roast.
I know that's the problem.
Yeah.
There's
going to be women and children there, Noodles.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to be George Costanza and swear in my speach, Was it Costanza that swore at like a wedding speech or something? Like, who swears? Like, he got pulled. So I'm going to try not to swear. Who knows? But it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Has it hit Mika, or is that all going to be on Saturday? Because I don't know that because he's such a more introverted, quiet guy, does he understand the magnitude of what he means to the city?
I think so, but it's weird. Like, even sitting at dinner last night, like somebody came up and asked for a picture, and he was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that's what it's like," type of thing. Like, I think
in Finland.
Yeah, like it just. I think he just goes about his thing. But I think there is. Somebody said even the guy at Caesars last night said like there's a buzz about the city, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And I think, I think it's really important that he embraces it, because I think he wants to embrace it for his kids and his family. His brother's here, which is really cool, his brother and his son. But it's, his boys, like, keep in mind, Aro and Oscar, like, were just kids. Like, Oscar was just being born and Aro was like 6, or whatever it was. Like, they didn't grow up like watching their dad play in the NHL. So it's kind of neat. It'll be really, I would imagine, neat for them to see like 20,000 people going nuts for their dad. Like, I think that might, Kipper's not super emotional, but it might make me emotional. Like, it'd be pretty cool. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, well, you'll do great. He'll be great. And I said it yesterday, we'll let you get out of here. If Jerome McGinley gets retired, the whole hockey world kind of watches. Everyone knows Jerome, Canada, gold medals, this whole thing.
Hall of Fame. This
is very much just for the pocket of Flames fans who are here and watched that run. They were here before he showed up and appreciated those 70 starts every single year. The league isn't really, I don't think this is much of a blip on the NHL radar, but this means a ton to Flames fans. I think that's cool.
It is. And I had this argument, maybe argument's the wrong word, and I obviously super biased, but I've always felt like Kipper had like a Hall of Fame career, even though it's not like, if you don't fit, I don't know what the criteria is, because you don't know. Yeah, Lanny could tell us because Lanny's in those rooms.
It's not allowed to tell you.
Yeah,
I know, but you know what I mean. Like it's like you look at it. I've always had this argument about Hall of Famers. At some point, were you one of the best in your craft?
Yeah.
So, because you didn't have to be the best, because like name a name like Clark Gillies. Like, was he one of the best, or just was he the best? I think he was one of the best. So you look at players like that, Cam Neely, Rogie Vachon. And then the other thing is, were you special? Like, were you like, Rhett, you could speak to this. How many special players did you play against? Were you like, before the game, you circled that guy on the whiteboard, it's like, that guy's going to be a problem. Like, Kipper was a problem for other teams because
for 7 years
he was special. So that's my criteria. And so it puts you kind of on the cusp. And I know I feel like the Hall hasn't done a good enough job putting goaltenders in. Now they're going back and revision.
Quit too soon.
I agree.
I think he would have made it if he'd have just kept playing. If he hadn't got frustrated.
And he still might, because again, like we just saw Vernon go in. How many
I just think that I think that if Kipper, because go ahead and look back at Kipper's number when he retired, he was extremely effective.
He got nicked up his last year, and it was like it was me or Keenan is kind of the word, and they kept Keenan.
No, it was Hartley.
Hartley, sorry, my apologies. It was the coach is gone or I'm gone.
Tiny hands.
And he could have went to Toronto and helped them win, and he was like, "No, I'm not going." It's who he is, and it's fine. But to we've talked about this before. I think for Kipper and making the Hall, all he had to do was keep playing, and he would have got there because his numbers would have been just.
Yeah, I agree. But then I was looking at it because I kind of got mad yesterday. We had a spirited debate, and I was like, Cam Neely was cut short because of injury.
Yep.
And you look at
Lindros, same thing.
Yeah, but Lindros was like super special. Like he was like ridiculously generational special. Like Cam Neely was a hell of a player, and I was like, did he make it into the Hall of Fame? I believe he's a Hall of Famer, correct?
Yes, he is.
And it's a shortened career. He wasn't a point-a-game guy, but he was like a power forward and great, but a very special player. Like, again, I can't draw a direct parallel between Mika Kiprusoff and Cam Neely because they're different positions, all of that. But does Kipper get hurt because he decided to retire early, where Cam Neely was forced to retire because of his knee? Doesn't matter. They still had shortened careers, technically on paper.
For 8 years, was he not the best goalie on the planet? Like he was there for me.
Yeah, one of the top.
Vezina votes every year.
But that's the thing. So that's my criteria: is were you one of the best at your craft, and were you special? Do people have to worry about you? That he checks both boxes for me.
I think I agree with you about goaltenders. We'll let you go here because I know you got to go.
No, that's fine.
Mike Vernon wins 2 Stanley Cups, a Conn Smythe Trophy, and again, given his stature, that's a special goaltender, and it took till last year for him to get in.
Rogie Vachon got in the last 5-6 years. Like it might take a long time.
Like what I mean is the body of work was there and has been there for a long time. I don't think Rogie Vachon even has that kind of. But Mike Vernon deserves to be there. That's 2 cups to Conn Smythe and plenty of wins. And it
took him a while to get there. I think the argument is Cujo, like Curtis Joseph, is got a lot of wins. And my test pilot, and I want to be on record for this, is 10 years from now, through another generation, Chris Osgood. Because if you look at his numbers, wins, cups, like there wasn't Vezinas though. That's the difference.
Yeah. I think what you said, we got to go. This can be a summer conversation. What's the approach from the Hall for goalies? Right, like you said, they're so important. You can't put every goalie there's 10 goalies this year that are lights out, and there's 10 goalies in this era that are really good. Well, do they put 10 goalies in?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? There's probably more space for goalies due to the fact of how important they are to any team's success, right?
But I feel like right now the Hull is trying to catch up.
Yeah, so they're underrepresented right now. Goalies.
Right, so it's like, hey, now it's time for Barrasso. Barrasso was a Hall of Famer, the day he stepped out of the league. Verney goes in, obviously Lundqvist, but it's like, they're slam dunk ones, and I feel like they're going, oh, we missed something here. It's like I argue with people at TSN all the time. We do these top 50 lists, and it always starts with, okay, who has the most goals and the most points? And then, oh, we got to slide a defenseman in there because we don't have a defenseman in the top 5. Oh, in the top 10, we forgot a goalie. So let's put in, like, there should be, if you're going to have these, if you're going to have like a consensus, it's got to be all players. What's happened is players, they look at goals and assists and, point a game, all of that, cups, and then we forgot about goalies. Well, what is that criteria? Like, that's where I feel like they're trying to catch up. Like,
ridiculous, yeah.
It is. It's ridiculous.
It does feel like you kind of go, okay, for a player, 1,000 games, 500 goals, cups. Is there any kind of hardware aside from a Lady Bing? Because we don't care about that. Selkies, that sort of thing. I don't know what is the measuring stick for goalies.
Well, and you made a great point. Like, there's a big body of work for a solid goalie, and then there's a guy with a shorter career that at his prime was much better. I don't know how they weigh those, because that's Mika against a lot of the guys you talked about. In his prime, I'd take Mika over almost anyone.
But that's where, how short is short? Because there was a stretch of 18 months where Tim Thomas, if you look at his body of work, was ridiculous.
One of the best ever. And he didn't show up till 32.
Ever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he had bad gear, and he was like, this weird, like,
9:30 every year.
Yeah, like, just like that stretch where he won the Vezina and the Cup and the concert. Like, it was just like, there was a stretch of 18 months where he was the best goalie on the planet, arguably. Yep. And it was
like a golfer.
Yeah. But it just, so he's come and gone, and, rumors, I don't know if this guy lives in a bunker in Colorado. I don't know what this guy, he's a goalie, so who knows? All of us are weirdos. But it's, that guy had this amazing, but that was a Hall of Fame stretch. He didn't have a Hall of Fame career, right? So I don't know what the argument is, but there is some, maybe it's a summer argument we'll get back into. But
who's paying for dinner tonight is my question. That's the only thing, like.
Barn burner, aren't they? I don't know.
Yeah, just throw it.
Does Barn burner have a credit card? We'll test it out.
Speaking of Cam Neal, if that is Seabass, just put it on Seabass's tab.
Who's got the biggest career earnings number? I feel like the big card at the table pays. That's not Barn burner.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely will not be me. So it's
Jerome, right?
If Jerome, but the problem is, and this is what I have with a problem. Just because a guy made $100 million in his career doesn't mean he walks in and the check is automatically his. Like, everyone works for a living, or should work for a living. Like, if you're going to come and eat and drink, like, get off your wallet. Like, it bothers me where, like, the bill is like right around the corner, and all of a sudden guys are like, kind of looking around.
This feels way too specific. It feels way too on the nose.
Fired here, Jesus.
You just can't have like freeloaders. That's the problem. Like, you don't go out knowing, hey, that's going to be free drinks and a dinner. You go out going, I can't wait to hang with those guys who I haven't seen in 10 years, 20 years. Like that.
I'm pumped for that, but what I wanted to do was stick one of those freeloaders that we know there's a few that float around. It would be nice to just, hey, what happened here?
Yeah, I can't, like, what'll happen is those people, like, they see it coming. Smart. They're too smart.
They go to the washroom. Yeah.
They go to the bathroom, and then it's out the back door, and then they join you at the bar 30 minutes later going, hey, I had to take a call. And you're like, okay.
That doesn't happen, does it?
No. But I am excited. I don't even know where we're going. We're going to figure it out. But I think what it should be is the bill comes, and you all put a bunch of money in, and you just move on with life instead of, like, looking at each other going, or sliding it in a direction of where the big boys are sitting at one end of the table that make the most money.
Usually the drunk guy. Oh, yeah, I got it. I'm having so much. Oh, I love
Someone feed Jerome.
I once played with a guy in junior, and he signed with Chicago that night, and his agent called, and he's like, I just signed with Chicago. Drinks are on me. He had no money. Like, it's not you're not getting a signing bonus wired to you into your account. He had to borrow money from me to pay the bill that he bought drinks for the whole bar. The idiot. Esmeralda's in Edmonton.
Vodka paralyzer. Oh, yeah.
No, it was vodka 7 lime juice. That's what it was. 100 of those.
In the mini pitcher. Yeah.
Exactly.
God, we are a weird species. Everyone did it.
Be safe out there tonight, Noodles. Be safe.
I will.
Big
Be
day
fun.
on Saturday.
All right, guys. We'll chat soon.
Noodles. There you go. Joining us on the TELUS Insider Hotline, as mentioned, you could win one of 6 monthly prizes, including tickets to Calgary hockey games, awesome tech like AirPods, Apple Watches, and more. No purchase necessary. All you need to do is fill out a quick survey. I'm telling you, fill out the survey and you could be winning this stuff. Enter for your chance right now. TELUS.com/Flames contest. What a guy. I love that he comes in, and I think there was 2 for sure, if not 3. Oh, I got a great story. I got to tell you the story. You know what? I got a great story. I got to tell you.
Keep trying to let him, you got to go. No, but just one more story.
I'm okay. I got to tell you a story about a guy, Ezzy's in Edmonton. Yeah. He'll do a great job. He'll be awesome.
No doubt.
Yeah. And Kipper might surprise you because of the kids, right? We're all at an age now where we have kids, and
you can't pretend that it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's not for
you could
it
put
may
on
not
a brave face, but
the pride you would feel as a father to have your kids there and for them to experience that and to make that special for them is pretty cool.
And again, maybe more so because his kids didn't get to see him.
Yeah.
Like I have no idea. My kids didn't see me play hockey either. So, and my jersey's not going to the rafters, but if your kids have been with you, you had kids young and they were with you through your whole career,
hanging in the
they
room.
experienced
well, and you know what else? He's not celebrated his career at all. No. He's driving the Zamboni at the local rink. He's fishing. Like, he is as low-key, down low a dad as you could have. There's no way those kids can appreciate what he meant here.
And so Saturday is the chance to do that. And you know what? Cool. At the end of your career, 9 out of 10 players will be jaded because you don't really get to pick the end on your terms. And for Mika, it was probably, like, your body fails you or you don't see eye to eye with a coach, and it's very business at the end. That's why these things come years later. You don't retire a number 6 months later. Like, we're talking a decade here, and he will be reminded how much he was beloved in this city.
I can't wait for the videos.
Oh man, those post to post, full flexibility, like should be an empty 6x4 tapping on the back door, and Mika somehow gets.
Well, there was one the other day that I saw, and Lubardius was on the call where he dives across and makes the paddle. It was Vancouver. I'm trying to remember who it was that shot it. And there's just, I mean, is it skill? Yeah, but it's pure desperation. And maybe you make it one every 20 or 30, but that was the one, and everyone saw it, and it's just. It wasn't an outlier. He was making those kind of saves
more often.
Seemingly every 2 or 3 games, you'd be like, "Holy, did you see that
How
save
did
from
he get
Kippersoft the other night?" He'll be talking about it. So, Saturday at the Dome. Now, what is the doors open at 5 for the 8 o'clock game?
Doors at 5. Puck drop at 8. Ceremony starts at 6:20.
Good.
I know they only allow 2 beers per, but that's a long ceremony. Maybe go stock up and do a second run.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This will be fun.
I'm going to need shades. I'm going to get emotional.
Emotional. That's what the shades are for.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Not because your eyes are floating in your head.
We mentioned it's the, I was going to do it for McLeod Law, a little this day in history because it's February 29th.
All right. Sure.
Day.
McLeod Law, Peter Klein.
It'll be rare.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the following players: Henri Richard.
Whoa.
Dan Daou. Former Leaf.
No.
Simon Gagne and Cam Ward, all born on February 29th.
Boy, Cam.
So Cam Ward is 10 today.
I was going to say, yeah.
Something like that.
It's almost a teenager.
Is stupid, though. Feb 29. What are we doing?
Very dumb.
And again, sheep. People allowed it to happen. So he said, we're going to have to add a day. Okay.
But if you really, like we started the show, why 28?
What are we doing? Why is this month 31? Why is this 28?
How did we come up with 20? Like February's 28.
Yeah, Jack.
Come on, Jack. Figure this out.
Come on, Jack.
This is your generation's going to have to change this. Henri Richard, 11 cups or 10? Most of all time. Rocket's brother. Oh, no. Yeah, Maurice is his brother, the Rocket. He was the better player, but Henri won the most.
Yeah, I believe it's 10
That's a hell of a career. 10 rings, you get 2 fistfuls.
How about, 6 teams?
Yeah, there's a lot of those other 6 teams, no one had 10 rings, like most ever.
Service Credit Union has brought back the Big Share, the Service Big Share, 6th year in a row, and it's your chance to win $1 million just by saving money. Anyone can enter by becoming a member and saving with Service. Every $500 saved gives you 5 entries into the Service Big Share contest. Transfer your existing savings to Service for chances to win $1 million. Contest ends April 30th, 2024. Skill test required. For rules, visit service.ca/win.
11 cups.
Yeah. It's decent. While we're talking about Kipper, and then we'll do the Pinder Report. I saw this article come up a while ago, and I wanted to remember it for this week. And I want to give credit where it is due here and see if I can dig it up. Again, it ages you. And you think about things, God, we're getting old. We're getting old. A huge fan of Mika Kiprusoff when he was growing up. Golden Knights goaltender Logan Thompson. This is from Jesse Granger of The Athletic. This was written a couple years ago. Logan Thompson vividly remembers sitting on the floor of his childhood home in June of 2004 watching Game 7. 7 years old, cheering on the Flames. Flames, of course, didn't win, 2-1. Ruslan Fedotenko. He says, "I'm still devastated," with a subtle laugh. This is the goalie for the Golden Knights, Stanley Cup winner. "I'm still devastated. Born and raised in Calgary, played for the Calgary Bison's AAA youth team as a teen. Has many memories of watching the Flames in the Dome. And because it was Mika Kiprusoff retirement year, he wanted to do something special as a Kipper fan. He says, "I was a big Kipper fan growing up. I remember he and Iginla impact players. Calgary was bad, but Kipper would give him a chance to win every single night, making ridiculous saves. He's the man," was his quote. So we'll kind of go through. So this is the gear, and goalies know this stuff. This gear that you see there, Mika brought it out for the outdoor game and then would wear it off and on. I'm not sure if he was a real stickler for gear. He kind of just felt like, I need new pads, just bring in whatever. So those are the ones that had, you can kind of, if you're watching on the thing, it looks just kind of like 3 stripes going up. He wanted to, this was Logan Thompson. He wanted to do something special. He talked with his equipment provider. So there's Kipper in the stance with the Bauer and that gear, and Logan Thompson.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he wore this gear when Vegas came to Calgary earlier this year. This was his tribute to Kipper. He says he's still his favorite of all time. He just kind of patterns this guy. Now he catches with the other hand, but I thought that was pretty cool that a guy in the NHL today has a Stanley Cup ring. This would be, and there's the official kit when you order it from the equipment company. That's the Bauer, the Bauer gear. So that was pretty cool. Kipper meant a lot to people. Well,
even it's funny because Mike Soroka, who's now pitching for the White Sox, we have him in a couple times a year. He was a monster Kiprusoff fan and went into net because of it and wasn't good, and then switched to baseball. So, just like you brought Mika to town, Mika put Mike in the majors.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah. But no, who didn't want to be a goalie in Calgary if you were like a school age kid when Mika was here?
Yeah. It's interesting. So Logan Thompson, where's Aiden Hill from?
He's Airdrie's.
Yeah, he's local.
But and that's it does make a difference. Like it's the same soccer, because soccer's been so good in Canada lately.
Yeah.
We're going to see a bunch of really good soccer players coming up.
There's basketball. Vince Carter had all those guys high in the draft from Canada the last 5-6 years.
You've got a goaltender that has an impact in regionally and in the town here. More kids are. I'm going to be goalie.
I'm trying to think. There was another one. There was another local guy that was
Jones.
Marty Jones.
He played here.
Hitman.
You're right. Aiden, there was another.
There was another local guy. I think he played for because Aiden Hill did, but there was another guy that was kind of a backup. But it was from that. He'd have been in that same
era.
Same era for sure. And I think even if you were to talk to minor hockey, probably there were some really good minor hockey goalies that played in Calgary.
Wouldn't be hard to get the gear signed up for that year. Yeah. Everyone wanted to be Jack. Okay, so you're mid-20s, right? Is that fair to say?
Young.
Yeah. When someone says Mika, what comes to mind? You're like, oh, I heard he was good, or like what stands out to you? Because I'm in my 40s. We're all in our 40s.
I think for me, just like watching as a young kid with my dad, I didn't really know a ton about Kipper, Iggy. Kind of towards the end I did, but the pads definitely were one of the things that stood out.
Okay.
Everyone loved those Vaughn pads with like the devilish kind of look on them. I don't remember a ton.
Yeah.
And I wish I did.
And that's sort of what you're talking about, where it's almost like an outdoor game. This is for this market for a certain time. This Saturday night. Like if there's a 15-year age window where if you were in that pocket, this was the greatest goaltender on earth for a significant portion of those 15 years.
It's another one of those things too for kids, because I don't know. We talk about the Saddle Dome. It's like, oh, Saddle Dome. More from Logan Thompson. I love playing at the Saddle Dome. I'm playing at home. It's a rink I grew up loving. It's an easy game to get up for. More on Kippersoft. Growing up, he was always the man. I would put him there as a top 5 goalie in the NHL. He never had a good team. Think about it. The Flames were never really a powerhouse. The one year they went to the Cup final, they were maybe in the playoffs as an 8th seed because of it. Yeah. I always felt like I want to be that type of player. I always looked up to him, how calm he was in the net. Then at the same time, he would do just ridiculous stuff. Competitive, but every time you watched Kipper get scored on, he'd have no emotion. He would put his mask up, take a drink of water, and just reset. He'd never get mad. He'd always go goal line to the wall and back to the goal line. I mean, it's pretty, you can tell the impact that he had on a guy who's now number 1 in the NHL. Pretty neat. Oh boy, Mika. That's the impact we're having on young podcasters out there.
Like, we're going to try to drink 15 drinks in an hour. And
Yeah.
if one of them dies, then we get a lawsuit.
No.
It's waves we're making.
Yeah. Something like that. Just all about
Did we talk about the trade yet?
No.
Do we care?
Yeah, it's coming up in the Pinder Report.
Okay.
We certainly care. We talked about it a little bit.
To be fair, if you want a lot of reaction, we did an emergency pod last night. Boom from his car outside of an arena.
I turned you
in
on.
the studio. Good, yeah. And
how come you didn't start your vehicle?
Oh,
it's a diesel. It's loud. It would have been.
Okay.
I could have
because the light kept going on.
I was curious because the light, yeah.
But I had it on. It's like it's too loud.
loud.
Okay.
And then I'm at this rink and I can't do it inside. It's kind of chilly last night and dark. If Connie does this trade in the middle of the afternoon, different story.
Come on, Connie. Think about our lighting.
And we're about to talk about the trade.
Let's do it.
So here you go.
Let's hit it.
It's time for the Pinder Report, a presentation of Village Honda. It's as though Honda designed the CRV for the city of Calgary and its unpredictable weather. No matter what the conditions, the CRV sits atop the pack among compact SUVs. You'll feel confident behind the wheel of your CRV, as Honda has included a plethora of driver safety features that come standard. Check out the CRV and more in the Northwest Auto Mall at our buddies, Village Honda, and online at villagehonda.com, and they present the Pinder Report.
Yeah, big deal day yesterday, fellas, as the Calgary Flames said goodbye to, a warrior, a leader, a quiet but heroic figure, Chris Tanev. 3 trades actually were made. There's a lot there. Essentially, the Devils got in as a third party to help eat more salary as Tanev gets to Dallas on a quarter, 25% of his $4.5 million. That's a hell of a deal for Dallas. He fits exactly what they're looking for. For the Dallas Stars, it's a right shot defenseman that jumps in their top 4. They're not good at getting in front of pucks and blocking shots. He is amongst the league leaders in that. And over his 4 years in Calgary, one of the best defenders in the NHL. Is he going to run your power play? No. Is he picking up points? Not very often. Is he great in his own zone, neutralizing chances against? One of the best. That's what Dallas just added. And they do it for the price of this year's second rounder, a kid that they drafted 2 years ago in the second round, who the Flames clearly like, and a conditional third that they don't even have to part with unless they get to the Cup final, in which, hell yeah, give them that third.
Yeah. It's a great deal for Dallas.
Yes.
Right? The jury will be out on the Flames, and who knows what else was there potentially. Now, the other part of it is, too, if maybe Chris Tanev gets injured. And
well, there's lots to it. And in Noodles, and we've said it, and of course, down the road is the only time you'll know, right? That's the only time.
Yes.
But he doesn't do the deal if there's better out there.
Yeah, Conroy likes this player more than I think a lot of other people do. And he has watched him a lot from listening to him speak with Flames TV yesterday. And he's had a lot of his guys in the org watch this player.
From what my old D partner, Jay McKee, coached him in Hamilton. Odd for Jay to speak so highly of.
Do you want to roll through some of that? Like, I don't think that's off the record stuff. I think
it's not. It just speaks to what
now Jay McKee, because he was with the Hamilton Bulldogs. Played. They went to the Bertha Memorial Cup, won the OHL championship. He was there for 2 years,
2 full seasons,
in the Ontario League. And Jay McKee, your old teammate, his coach there.
Genuinely a great human being, incredible hard worker on and off the ice. Always in the weight room before players arrived to the rink. And long after they left, there were days where I'd be leaving the arena and I'd hear shots off the glass and from down the hallway. go take a look, and it'd be him still on the ice. Always did it without being asked. Like, I mean,
It's everything you want to hear.
All you, yes. Stay-at-home style defenseman, but he moves the puck well, enjoys playing physically, and was a major success as an 18-year-old in our championship season.
As an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
I don't say this often or lightly, but he's a special kid.
Yeah, and well, why don't we just jump to the head coach of the Texas Stars? He's playing in the American League as a 20-year-old. He's a left shot defenseman, good skater, physical player, defense first. This is their head coach of Calgary, and he's a first-class individual. He wanted to say a few words. He hung around after the trade. He got scratched last night for their game because he was involved in the trade. Waited till after, spoke very highly of our organization his time here. We feel the exact same way about him. I told him, I'm from Calgary. If he needs anything, a home-cooked meal, let me know.
Yeah.
So this guy is winning people over everywhere he goes. And, you know, as a Russian guy, that's not often easy to do because it's a different culture. It's not home. He has got nothing but sterling character references everywhere you go. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to be a great hockey player. Yeah. What it does mean is that you don't have to worry about the character. One of Treliving's bigger gaffes in my mind was when he moved a second rounder for an exemplary human who just had no ceiling, and that was Curtis Lazar. His career high was 2 goals when he picked him up for a second rounder. And Curtis Lazar remained a fourth-line player that is an awesome human, and he's still in the league as a fourth-liner who's an awesome human. So nice to know you're getting an amazing human and you want to bet on that type of person overcoming the odds. But the profile they've picked up with this prospect is a guy that's going to have to beat the odds if he's going to be a regular. And
he's going to be a Tanev.
That would be the high end. And I don't know that top 4 is.
But meaning style of play. It's not going to be points. It's going to be a quiet performance, rugged.
And it depends on what else you have. Like Tanev is it sounds like I'm taking a shot at him as he leaves town, but is he really a top 4?
I think he is. I think the defending is
he's
so
a 4-5.
Okay.
He's not, and depending on who he's playing with, he's clearly a 4, right? Like
I just see contenders lining up for Tanev to put him on a second pair. Like to me, that says he's second pair guy. Like in Edmonton, he slides right side second pair. Dallas, right side second pair.
If you want to do the comparable, he was an undrafted player, and at 20, no one was saying he was going to be a coveted player in the National Hockey League.
He didn't come in as a top 4.
Correct. Yeah. And he was undrafted and came right out of college as a free agent signing in Vancouver. My point being is that Tanev's an outlier. Mark Giordano was an outlier. If this guy's going to make it, he's going to have to be the outlier. That makes it a bit of a riskier bet.
I think you're underselling it. He's a second-round pick.
Why would Dallas take him in the second round?
Why was he ranked 10th amongst their prospect pool by people that are going to, like, I'm not saying
because they draft well, like where they were in the Dallas hierarchy does not mean, it makes no difference as to what he is as a player.
Well, I think if you're just going to look at where he was drafted, there's a lot of guys drafted later.
Well, then don't look at the prospect report. What if they have 3 or 4 guys at the top of their roster, like Stankoven and Maverick Bork that are elite?
I'm not saying this guy's going to be a good player. What I'm saying is you're asking this guy to be an outlier because there's not huge ceiling.
No, you're not.
That's just what I said. What do you mean I'm not saying that?
You're not asking him to be an outlier. He's a second-round pick.
Yes. Who's put up no points anywhere.
And you're not asking him to put up points.
But you're never.
It's not his job.
Correct.
You've drafted the Etienne Morens, and you've got the Jeremy Poiriers, and you've got the kid out of New York.
So is it a slam dunk that he's an NHLer?
No, but it's not for anybody.
That's my only point, is that the most likely scenario for this player's profile is that he's a quad A or a 6'7", but with the character, you're hoping that he can be a solid third pair guy for a long time because you love the way he plays and you know he's going to give it everything he's got work-wise.
I think you can that. I don't think you're often portraying it that way, but it can be portrayed as it's the way you're saying it makes it sound like he's going to have a hard time making the NHL. And that's correct for everyone. It's not an argument. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying he was also a second round pick. Like, we covet second round picks. And it's odd. As soon as you become a second round pick, they don't covet the second round pick. Do you know what I mean? Like, we got to get these picks. Second round pick. That's a good pick. Except now we've got a second round pick that's already been picked, and maybe he's not as good as a second round. Like,
it depends, right? Because for the example for me would be like, you look at William Stromgren, a guy that the Flames draft in the second round, you're like, meh, probably not a player. And then it's like 2 picks later, Stamkos, give us that guy. So you just know more about the guy 2 years later. That's all it is.
You do have a longer viewing of him.
And so what I would say is, if you view this as 2 seconds and a conditional third, does that change the way you feel about the deal? And if you like this player, you probably say, no, it doesn't. But what I'm seeing from a lot of people in other markets is that like, oh, is this the best prospect they could get? Because there's not a high ceiling. But it doesn't mean they can't win this trade. Absolutely, I think they can.
The thing of it is, if you're going to judge it by points, because remember, the Flames make this trade, they don't get a point or 2 or 3 a year. They're not going to judge him on what he does offensively. They have offensive guys. It's what he does on the defensive side why they made this trade.
Yes.
It's his ability, his skating, his stick work, physical
You're gonna
guy.
hope and pray he can play with Shillington.
And he's 20. I just
Yeah, no one's suggesting we know what the finished product is. It's just that when you look at players that have done what he's done through draft year, draft +1, and draft +2, it's like less than 10% turned into NHLers. And that's fine. You're
Compared to
betting
what,
on the
though?
best character.
Compared to what, though?
Just the same profiles. Like, here's his age, here's his birth date, here's his production. So it feels like
production. Again, you're coming back to production.
because almost even the defensive defensemen produce at lower levels. How many points do you have in junior?
45.
Yeah, right. Like that's points.
It's fine. This is a unique case.
So 1 year at college, Chris Tanev puts up 28 points in 41 games. This is my point.
When you're a defensive defenseman, you don't flash if you're doing things correctly. If you're playing well, you're not really noticed a ton. So it'd be easy for these guys that do the scouting reports and everything else, like, oh yeah,
I just not to interrupt you, but I actually think, and I've talked about it, and we've brought it up. In a day where you can't scrap as a defensive defenseman, you're screwed.
It's really hard to stand out, right?
You have to grind and do it continuously over and over and over and over to get noticed. Because you can't go get in a fight he fights like that guy, right? Like there's not a lot. He's not going to get points, clearly.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Okay.
You don't have to, but it's very hard for guys that are defensive focused to even get noticed.
Now, what about Brostevich?
Yeah.
He's got tons of points.
Tons, yeah.
So it's red carpet to the NHL?
Of course not. I'm just saying, like, you would say Chris Tanev's a defensive defenseman. He was almost 3/4 a point per game in college.
No, I understand.
His first year.
Do
you understand that?
Yeah, I do.
What
So
college?
even the most defensive
I hear you.
a defensive defenseman produced at the collegiate
you're
level.
repeating yourself, and I'm saying
And at
again,
the
I hear
American
you.
League level, he produced more than this guy in his first year. I think he can be a very nice piece. There are many that think this is underwhelming. Scouts and people that work in front office.
There sure are. And
so
you know
that's
what?
all I'm telling you.
You know what? He's going to have a hard time making the NHL. You read some other guys, they're going to have a hard time keeping him out of the NHL by how he plays.
The character you wouldn't bet against.
By how he
100%.
plays, not character. Seems there's so much out there that at 20 years of age, 2 seasons in North American hockey as a junior, and well, this is what it is.
No one said what it is. So I'm just
You're telling me exactly what it is.
I'm telling you that this is a longer shot, but that I don't know what he's going to be. That's all I'm saying. And if he has the character he has, I'd like you bet on that character if you're going to bet.
For sure. But if you're drafting or trading for a player to play a specific role, and clearly that's what this is. They didn't go looking for the best defenseman. They looked at their cupboard and says, offense, offense, offense. We're going to have to do a lot of teaching on the defense side with Poirier.
Yeah, but they've got Kuznetsov and Solovyov for profile as third pair guys. It's not like they don't have those guys.
That's why this deal was done.
I get it. They really
Conroy
like the
said as much yesterday.
They like the player.
Is that they get this guy because of the offensive abilities of those other 3. That this can be a complement to that. That's all.
Yep.
But if you're a team that drafted the guy hoping he's going to come in and get you points, and yeah, you're going to be disappointed, and he may have a hard time making your team because of that. But if they're looking for him to be defense first, and he can be that,
what's
then
Pahal?
he's got.
I mean, Pahal to me is a guy you got on waivers who's in his mid-20s, is a 7-8 around the league. And Pahal would have outproduced him at all levels. Not that he's a defense guy, but I'm just saying, like, it's a really, you can go back and look at profiles. This is a very, very, very rare profile that makes it. It doesn't mean he won't. That's all I'm saying. And look, if you went to a neutral group of NHL observers, they would say there's guys with higher ceiling you could have chased, but Connie loves this player. Like, I'm not denying that. There is the characters through the roof, and he gives them an element they don't really have, is the point you're making.
That's just the main point that I'm making, is that he is filling a role that they are wanting to fill. They're not starting from scratch looking for the best 7 defensemen. They're trying to augment what they have, and they feel like this is the best way to do that, which I think gives him a better shot at making the NHL if that's what they're looking for. If the spot that they're looking for, he's tailored for, I think gives him a head start.
And the Hall point's an interesting one because you can't go find top 4 defensemen on waivers almost ever.
No.
Like maybe you got Gustav Forsling in Florida 4 or 5 years ago. It's very rare. The types of guy you can find, they're third pair, 6'7", that have some physicality and some warts that don't produce offense. So that would be the argument against this type of a player as the prospect. But if you view it as 2 seconds and a conditional third,
I think
that's a nice return for 20-some games of Chris Tanev in a playoff run.
And regardless, I just think that that's the market.
But I said that to last night because it was yesterday. We were talking, well, if you get a couple firsts, maybe get a first in the Tanev deal, and you get a first in the Hanifn. Well, you didn't get the first. I feel like immediately it's kind of you're disappointed. If you thought you were going to, well, wait another week, maybe you'll get the first. It sure seems to signal from Conroy that I'm not getting a first.
I think it almost signals to move on from this trade. That I think what Conroy was doing was just letting Pinder know that maybe we have to pump the brakes on what our return expectations are.
Well, and again,
I'll stick with my substantially more for Hanifn than what we saw yesterday. I'll stay with it,
and I'll stay on the other side.
You think it'll be Cimarron? You don't think they got first for Hanifn?
What I was told is be prepared to be underwhelmed, and people are underwhelmed with this one, and I think it'll be the same with Hanifn.
Well, you were also told that there was a robust market for Tanev, though. And that,
but listen, I think all I'm saying is that even if they get a first for Hanifn,
No,
robust
I think
market,
it's first player plus.
Robust
means number of teams
Lindholm.
interested. That's what there were 10 to 12 teams interested in them, but they were all in that same price
second
range.
plus. Yeah.
So whether there's fewer teams or more teams or whatever, it just sounds like you're not going to get this haul for Hanifn that you maybe hope for. That's all.
We'll see. I'm a little more bullish on it. And I heard from someone in a Western Conference organization, they said they're going to get a ton for Hanifn.
Now, it could be a first
plus,
but that might not be. I don't know what people expect.
That's just it. Well,
we'll see.
Right? Like, what is the
for me, if Conroy gets a Lindholm type return, that'd
be a monster.
Holy shit! Like, wow.
If you got the Lindholm deal minus the second prospect and the second pick, that's probably where we're starting. Roster player, prospect first, and that would be a good haul, I think, for him.
Yeah, I agree.
So if he can get that, good Lord. He's already added a full draft class. First, second,
might
third,
as well
fourth,
do
fifth,
it
another
today or tomorrow, so that we can.
Yeah, and then just
cruise.
Now, if you could get something done with Florida and Tampa, you're flying there on Thursday.
You're going there anyway.
Guys. Yeah. You're flying there Wednesday.
And they retained salary.
A lot of it.
Right?
As much as they could.
They retained half of that salary, and that's still the package that they got.
That's what I'm finding weird is that I thought that they didn't want to retain salary on the Markstrom jersey.
Well, they didn't want to do it on Zadorov.
No, I know, but wasn't there
that was the hang up in the Markstrom deal?
Yeah.
And I think the difference is that we're talking about like $600,000. And if you're talking about retaining salary on Markstrom, you're talking about like
no, I just meant that Jersey,
$8 million over the next 3 years.
Why was Jersey asking Calgary to eat money on Markstrom, but now they're eating money
because it's for this year.
It was
it's
such
only
a small amount.
It's less than $300,000 in real salary. They got a fourth rounder for less than $300,000.
Yeah, it's the prorated what's left on Tanev's
It's
deal.
a third of a deal, and they're eating 25% of it.
Whereas for Markstrom, it's
the full year,
the full year, and then all of next year and the year after. So it's a bigger ask for sure.
It's a huge ask. Yeah. Like to eat between now and April 18th, that's all anyone's doing here. This deal is done April 18th. He stops getting paid.
I still say New Jersey. Grab him and give him a twist. Show us what you're about.
There's something going on.
I think they might in June.
Yeah, man. Shorty.
Wild card looks like this. Let's go. We got a couple of decent matchups tonight that involve teams here. In fact, Nashville, Minnesota, we'll hear from later. They clash. That'll be an interesting one. Minnesota's found a little traction here, Dino. They were well under 500 a while ago, getting healthier.
So they're not trading Marc-Andre Fleury. So
and that's kind of up to him, and that makes sense. They're in it, and he doesn't want to go back up somebody, right? Like, let's be honest. Likes it there. They're in a chase. They got good horses there.
I always wondered if Pittsburgh was in a position, if maybe he'd go back there, but they're in
I don't know if they're in a
spot
position.
than Minnesota is, I think.
Yeah, and Jerry's been fine. You want to go back up first?
Just a sentimental thing. It'd be cool to see him go back.
Maybe the one-day contract or something. He feels like a Penguin when he goes out, right?
certainly does.
Schedule wise, what are we looking at? Well, it's 2 and then gone. Make sure you leave the water and the Tylenol by the side of the bed on March 2nd. That's Mika night. That's going to be, by my rough math, about 6 to 7 hours of Saddle Dome time. So adjust appropriately and accordingly. Monday, Seattle. They're right in there with the Flames. I feel like Seattle's kind of becoming Columbus. Like they just kind of feel irrelevant. Not good, not bad, no identity.
I have not paid close attention.
Well, and it's like, what do we, if I say them
like last year in the playoffs a little bit? Oh, maybe they're doing
and then
good. And
poof, gone.
I like their goal song.
I like their jerseys and logo. Yeah,
I like what they're doing.
Apparently, the rink is awesome.
Rink's awesome.
It doesn't.
But the team, nothing. Yeah, still feels like an expansion collection.
I mean, Vegas went to the Cup in year 1.
There you go.
What have you guys done?
Seriously, what have you done for us lately? Okay, that's all the sports.
All right.
Heavy debate.
Oh, is that it?
Well, we got a lot of shit, a lot. And it starts with our barn animals. And look, we've got the Great Clips inbox where people can contribute also on social.
Mm-hmm.
But someone has gone to the effort of designing some T-shirts for us, I think using AI. So we have a no rat policy on the Pinder Report. This is day 2 of that. So this guy's got you a Boomertown Rats T-shirt coming soon, sponsored by the Pinder Report. Very good. Although those look like mice, don't they?
What are the Boomtown Rats? What's the base?
And then because Frank's jacket is still in your closet at home, there's the proud collector of Canada Goose with Dio's shades on. This guy gets us.
Proud collector. I am for sure. Yeah.
Feathered and lethal. Okay. I think we know what that's about. I should go to the mustache. That'd be a vibe, wouldn't it?
Oh, man. I mean,
what the bleep are you looking at? See you next Tuesday. There's a jacked kangaroo with jeans on. Like, that is amazing.
Who is doing this?
Just someone on Twitter. I saw it this morning when I woke up. See you at Grenadine. There's a rat riding a 3-wheeled motorcycle.
See this when you use the internet for good, not evil. This can happen.
It's a crocodile with a bunch of newspapers and glasses in a suit saying, "Time for the Pinder Report." We have had a lot of reptiles.
If there was a mullet on the crocodile, that would be good.
Barn Burner Weekly. Rhett Warner spelt wrong. And then remember, it's the parents' fault and the importance of not interrupting, Cammy. And it's looks like a magazine cover, episode 1. I need to give a shout out to this guy. That literally just fell into our laps at like 7 this morning.
I feel like there's some deal we could strike up with this guy.
We've certainly pushed worse stuff onto the market. Say that. And this is David O'Brien. David, thanks a bunch.
Attaboy, Dave.
Ghost to Ghost, GHOSS on Twitter or X. So shout outs to him. That? Now you remember the pandemic hit, you got on the bike and you were big into workouts.
Yeah.
Your roommate, the woman you live with, sent us a video. You've got a new regime starting.
Well, of course, yeah.
So there's Boomcat.
Yeah, there I am.
And no, look, the kid, I guess, film this. There it is.
My bare feet.
And I don't know who installed it. The good news is that bottle didn't break, Dean. And I didn't know you're a Rangers fan, but it's happened bad for a few years.
Bad ankles.
I've got a shirt here. What do we got for the shirt? Shirt. Yeah, okay, so here it is. You go shopping. How are you going to look in this stuff? This guy's got it all figured out. He just slides it right. Oh, okay. Oh, that's going to be a little baggy on me.
Right. Oh,
yeah. Oh, pretty good.
Yeah.
That's how I shop.
Yeah, see? Well, easy. That's the thing. If you're buying online, not going to stores, how do you know what it's going to look like? Well, now you know.
Not bad.
Kids these days, right, eh? Just pain in the ass.
Just these days. Yeah.
Messing with parents. We got a collection of kids doing dumb things. So this is good here. This is cool dad here.
Mousetrap surprise.
That's what it's called.
Dad leaves for bathroom break.
It's kids. Film it.
Kids are doing it.
Mousetrap in the bag of popcorn.
A few moments later.
Oh. I'm just playing coy. They just love it. What do? You yell at them? They just won the Super Bowl.
Must have mice in your house if you get a mouse trap.
Must.
True.
Yeah.
Now, when they get older, they go to parties. You always got to be careful when you and the shoveler go on vacation, right? Because the kids might throw a party.
Yeah, have at her, boys. Get her.
Yeah, well, just make sure you don't invite this kid. So this is a chandelier and some sort of second floor ledge. They're going to try to do the swing off the chandelier. Dude's pretty confident. I'm a little worried about the structural hole. Dumb animals.
We are so stupid.
It gets stupider. So then outside, you have the chandelier swing inside. Outside, people are playing with fireworks, like parties these days. Jack, your generation needs to learn how to party. Oh no! This looks like one of the Kachuk brothers, isn't it? The long lost Kachuk brother.
That can't feel good.
No, can't feel good.
No,
and you wasted a firework because they just dropped it on the ground and then it would have gone off. Idiot.
We've got a carnival ride that I don't know if it's faulty or if this guy's doing it wrong. So I think it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed ride. It's not the redhead here. It's behind him. So you have to move your wings to try to steer. But this guy loses balance, and now he's just...
Oh, momentum.
Oh, he's in his, yeah.
He's in a death spiral.
He is in a death spiral,
And
yeah.
it looks like one of his shoulders is kind of sliding out. I'm worried about his safety here. And now the ride, we're just getting started. Is this at West Ed, by the way? This is in a mall, it looks like. And he's still just...
Stop the ride.
Just buzzing.
Stop the ride.
Yeah, he's secure. Just keep it going. So I think he's got his wings set on full twist there, guys. Oh, just. Oh, and now this is lap 3. He's really buzzing here. I don't know what he had for lunch, but we're about to find out. And everyone's noticed by now. It's, yeah.
So, but there again, did he start? Was he being
I think he lost his balance, and then next thing you know, he gets into the spin. See, he reaches, and then he's like, "Oh my! Oh no!" And then it's just we're off. I'm off to the races.
It's just where does this stuff come from?
Oh, the internet, Dean.
Algorithms. It's all science.
No, horses.
We're full of horses.
But you got to earn their trust, right? That's why when you're kids, you always got like give them a carrot or have the apple out of your hand beside the fence. You want to be friends with the horse before you try to get on the horse. Because if you're not, this horse is nervous. Oh, is that a row of teeth that just lost? Something goes flying.
Is it the glasses?
The hat's gone, glasses, teeth. What are we working with you?
Oh, both.
Boy. They're good at high kicking.
That's a joke right there.
No, that is that's a hospital bed for a while, I'm thinking.
Holy cow.
Now, Dean, this one's especially for you because you're the shark lover, and I know you're all about protecting the sharks.
Sure do, yeah.
They can be dangerous. Here's a group of a bunch of people
swimming with,
No, but don't worry. They got like tanks and sure the shark, you just gently push their nose away. That's how you deal with sharks.
That's right, yeah.
So just very gently direct them. And, that's not gentle at all. And,
hi.
Boy. Yeah.
Hey.
Saying hello to everyone.
Oh my God.
Oof.
That's just nightmare.
And again, the shark's just doing his thing in Sharkland, right?
Why are you in my living room?
Exactly. Trespass on a
Why are you in my living room and touching me on the nose? I don't think so.
This one's called Bat Face.
Take the doors off.
Friendly fire, dude.
Oof.
Oh, see, I like that one. The horse one, the guy's not trying to. This guy's an idiot.
Yeah,
he earned it.
You
That's
think?
Bat Face, yeah.
Bigger?
Yeah. Bigger. I got another bike one. I know we had the guy
Bat
off the
Face.
second story yesterday. This is different.
Well, we got to learn about that.
Some of these Pinder Report ones, you think you know what you're going to get.
Is that a unicycle?
And then, no, he's back wheel.
Okay.
But look, he misses the taxi. Everything's going to be fine. Oh. AirPods stayed in, no? Everyone thinks it's the taxi, and then no, it's the motorcycle.
How mad would you be if you're the motorcycle guy?
Yeah, not impressed.
Like, dude,
What are you doing?
What have I driven into here?
yeah.
What were you doing? And Rhett, it's a bit of a throwback. I didn't have a ton of time to go over it, but I saw a promotional video from your neck of the woods. So it's your current neck of the woods. Let's have a look.
Need a place to go after a hard day's work? Well, head on out to the Sundowner for the classiest, sassiest experience in French table dancing.
French.
The Sundowner, Lundy's Lane, Niagara Falls, Canada, open 6 days a week, noon to 1 a.m. Come in for a great lunch special or a full course meal anytime.
Delicious.
Always full bank exchange on your currency. The Sundowner, an easy drive from where you are right now. Visit us soon. We've got first class sass.
There it is, Rhett.
Now I need a first class sass.
Some
shirt.
sass.
Yeah.
I need a first class sass shirt.
You need
Well,
3
get-
shirts.
Get ghosty ghost there. To
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad. That's
Where,
Pinder
from wherever you are, it's very close.
wherever
to
you are right now.
The French table dancing, which of course fancier
Yes, it is.
than your ordinary
No.
kind.
It is a common in the Niagara escarpment region to have the chicken wings fed to you by a woman in a fur coat.
Very
Is that a
classy,
regional dialect?
right? That's part. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheese.
All right.
Fur coats.
There it is on a Thursday.
I always like to kind of let a beat go before we mention the next.
Right. Yeah. It's just
Village Honda, huge selection of used, pre-owned, all makes, all models, all budgets, over 90 units on site, access to more than 500 more inside the dealership group. Make Village Honda the one-stop automotive destination in Calgary. They are definitely worth the trip. Village Honda, located in the Northwest Auto Mall. Sundowner, is that what it was?
Fairfax. Sundowner.
it's Ottawa.
Mhm.
It's Rhett's hit list from the 90s. Early double O's.
And is it not that far from you?
It's not bad.
What is the difference between English and French table dancing?
Oh.
You Google.
Yeah.
Jack. So which one were you not going to? Because I was in here and they were prepping, and Jack actually stepped. He's like, Ryan, no, like
We can't do
We
this.
can't play this.
Some dude's leg
Scooter.
was backwards after scooter incident.
Oh,
Yeah, his foot was pointing where his ass was pointing. That's not supposed to go that way.
walk both ways. at the
Well, then
same
we
time.
did one yesterday, didn't we? On the
This one was
I was
way
doing the-
worse.
Yeah, it was.
I
worse.
can do the mouse shit. I can't do the
no, but
injury.
dude was on the weight rack there doing the leg
Oh, yeah,
extensions.
yeah.
and
Yeah,
his
his knee went the wrong
buckled
way.
on him.
Yeah.
Mm.
Something about that foot pointing the wrong way, really off-putting.
Yeah, not great. Let another beat go. Tourism Jasper. Spring has basically sprung. It is time. The spring cabin properties are opening up soon. We've been telling you about it's kind of one of the unique things up there. You go, it's cabin country. You get up there, you rent a cabin. Pine Bungalows open April 1st. The Alpine Village May 2nd. Patricia Lake Bungalows May 3rd.
It's coming.
Takara Lodge May 16th. Sunwapta Falls Mountain Resort May 16th. Now you're like, boom, it's February 29th.
Booking though, dude.
You got to get on it. You got to get on it. The spring skiing, it's still winter up at Marmot Basin. Spring skiing around the corner. The new knob chair is spinning, offers epic views and new terrain access. Family ski deal, 2 adults, 2 children aged 17 and under. It's a family pass consisting of 4 one-day tickets for only $298. There you go. Get on it. It's a beautiful spot, beautiful part of the world. Jasper.travel is the website, but for these for the discounts and that, jasper.travel/current-deals.
There you go.
So jasper.travel.
Just get to Jasper.travel. Start
You'll
sniffing
find
around.
it.
Yeah,
You'll find it there.
Figure it out.
You'll find it there for sure. How now? Yesterday, we had a food delivery from our buddy Greg up at
Oh my
Bonton
God.
Meats, and
Fridge is full right now, Jack. Is that right? Loaded up.
did you guys take? Because you took
We
some
took-
home, retro, and I took some home.
Rosie was here for Department of Discipline. He took some home.
Oh, he
was
must have-
thrilled.
His mind must have been blown when he walked in. What is this?
It's like, what did I walk into? I just had lunch. Why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, my kid was ecstatic. He's like, Dad, what is that in the fridge? What are you talking? Is that
All yours, son.
ribs? Is that like ribs and potato salad from the? Yeah, it is. Well, can I? Yeah, buddy, you can.
Dive in.
You're just gone.
Dive in, big guy.
And then last night I had to leave for a little bit. Obviously, was at the rink. Came back. He's making his lunch. Dad, are there any ribs left? Well, I don't know what was in there. Did you eat
give
all
us the update there, son? Because I haven't been here since you started eating them.
Well, what? Yeah, what was? Is there any left? You're asking me. I don't. Is there? Blank screen. Did you eat them all? Yeah, I did. Then there's none left.
So you answered your own question.
The math.
The math.
And then Keller texts like, so no potato salad hangover today? Nothing. It's like, you don't know that. I ate a lot of potato salad. I think that's all I ate yesterday. I had some ribs here and then took some home and they went poof. And I had more potato salad here. And as soon as I got home and before I left, then again when I got home.
You grazed on potato salad.
It's good living right there if you can get it.
So good. And again,
it was like a torso-sized vat. It was quite
they
impressive.
They don't publicize the potato salad. They don't
need.
advertise it.
Yeah.
So you guys could talk about. Is there anything else you guys can talk about other than potato salad? We sell a lot of things here, but it's I guess potato salad. And we said it yesterday. I had no affinity for potato salad before this.
No, nor anywhere else after. It's only this potato salad.
No, my yearly picnic, I would have some potato salad. Other than that,
the first thing you notice is like that's not the color that I'm used to. Usually it's that yellowy kind of
mustard in there.
This is like white.
Yep.
Potatoes are very crisp.
And look, there's some bacon looking at me.
So much bacon in here. Oh my god. Bonton Meat Market. My mouth is sweating. 28 Crowfoot Circle Northwest. It is the best. We keep saying it. The best AAA Alberta beef, free-range poultry, grain-fed Alberta lamb, milk-fed veal, fresh Alberta pork. Once again, the Calgary Consumer Choice Award winner for best deli meat market. It's our buddy Greg. Bonton Meat Market. Been great to us over the years. Continues to be. So is Retro going to be in studio? I know exactly. It's like, maybe. There's a good chance. Yeah, perhaps. Okay, I'm gonna have to do the.
Oh boy.
Why don't you just get prescription?
Somebody texted in. I'll read it, I guess. It's from Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
And actually, this is for, well, whatever. Back in the day, I lived in Calgary, was a frequent flyer at the 9th and 5th original Cowboys.
Oh,
we'd see Kipper and Dion in there on many occasions. My buddy's cousin was an Oiler fan, dirtbag, but had a rocket for a girlfriend. He would send her into the corner where Phaneuf and Kipper would hang out and get her to get drinks from Dion, who was young and single and thought he was a big wheel. She would then bring the drinks over to her boyfriend for him to drink. He thought this was the best thing ever. Meanwhile, there's Kipper sitting in the corner, drinking, smoking a dart, even though there's no smoking, just minding his business. Being a Flames fan, I did go over to say hi to Kipper. First thing he says, how many drinks has your buddy got through that girl? I replied, oh, he's not my buddy. I don't really think he's doing that. Kipper's like, I don't care. I think it's funny. I just have a bet going to see how many it is. So Kipper, chestnut checkers, in on it.
Totally.
And I guess did you ever see anything quite like this? I think it's just more of an appreciation, a Kipper appreciation thing than anything else.
No, but I can see it. He loves a good laugh and could care less about how many drinks Dion has to pay for.
You guys had the rule of the roost in that joint. That was quite something for a while there.
Hey, Rhett. I haven't been able to sleep through a night since the slideshow at Rhett's Roast. Any ideas on how to see those photos? So somebody had an early night, I guess, at the roast and didn't see the slideshow. Does anybody still have?
I don't remember slideshows, so
I was going to say
I would love to watch it as well.
Rhett didn't even see Clark Whelm. Never mind a slideshow.
Cabbage rolls. We asked that one. Retro. Who was the guy on the 04 team or that group who would drink more than they would eat on a road trip? If you know what I mean. I guess just as their big boozer.
Who wasn't?
Oh, yeah.
Or says, hey, we're going for dinner. Oh, are you? I'll have a triple martini. With your steak? No steak. Hold the steak.
That was the era when guys started to stop drinking before games. Night before games.
So that was a transition from when you started to when you had finished, sort of thing.
Like going out the night before a game, you'd always go out and eat when I first started, and you'd have drinks.
Yeah.
Not that meant staying out till 2 a.m, but there was bottles of wines and some beers and a couple drinks at least.
Yep.
And then guys, that was around the first time guys were like, we play tomorrow.
Mhm.
I'm just going to lay off. But Montador never said no to Benny.
Yeah. I think there's probably a few of those guys.
I was gonna say, like the sticking out like an odd thumb would be the guy that doesn't enjoy the sauce on that crew.
This is from Jim. Hey, Rhett, looking forward to Kipper night. How close were you guys to missing a morning skate after a night of partying?
Never close.
Not close, or how close was it?
We maybe should not have been going to the
Right.
rink, and we maybe should not have been on the ice, but we never. Well, I know there was one instance where he maybe missed, but the rest of us weren't at that. Like, what was I just not going to show up?
Yeah.
No. You always.
You mean he had maybe a little bit of wiggle room
he
to
had the
not be in
yeah.
attendance.
And it was also during a playoff run, so I don't think they wanted to make a big deal of it.
Load management.
Yeah, load management.
Load management. Off ice workout today for Kipper.
Yeah.
Hey, Retro. This is from Ian. You ever made Yuckla Flux? Which is what
Yuckafucks?
Yuckla Flux or whatever?
I have.
Do you know what this is?
It rings a bell though.
It's
You
kind of
mentioned
a
it
dumb
before.
prairie thing.
Yeah, just a bunch of booze.
The one we made it once, and it was like we can never do that again. It was you just get a big pail,
Just S mix.
and it's what have you got?
Yeah, shit.
And it's kind of white liquor, white mix, and then fruit.
There's a lot. Yeah, I think a lot of it's supposed to be that you bury fruit
Yeah.
in booze, and then it's like gummy bears. Even you sink them into a bottle of vodka.
Watermelon's still a move. Hey, a little hole in the
Yeah.
top.
But that's basically
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
And you get messed up.
I'd think so. Yeah.
Moose milk we used to make too at the lake all the time. Oof.
What's that?
Same sort of thing. Just it's evil. That's what it is.
This is from James. Hey, Retro, old boy. How come when I eat corn, I get to see it twice on the way in and the way out?
Doesn't digest, obviously.
Is that what it is?
Maybe you should stop eating the corn.
It is for, you know what?
As long as you put it in the right end, that should.
That corn's stubborn. It's putting up a fight in there, right?
a force field on those things.
Like whatever breaks down your gut stuff. It's
Usually that's kind of something if you thought about it, it's like clearly this was not meant to be ingested.
and it's not really a healthy vegetable, right? It's a carb.
Yeah,
You know what? It's a
why do you
fucking liar.
eat corn?
Yeah.
What? Well, I'm asking. If you ate corn, what would
For the butter and salt, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like popcorn.
It's popcorn.
It's the vehicle.
Yeah,
It's
a
the
vehicle
to
for
get
salt and butter.
your salt and butter.
That's it. It's the only reason.
Yeah. From Mitchell. Hey, Rhett, has Huberdeau totally redeemed himself
No.
yet?
What are you talking? Totally redeeming. He makes.
I think he's using the play on words from the Dumb and Dumber, but
Right.
but over point a game. Didn't you have that yesterday?
In the new year, since
In
the All-Star
Jan?
break,
Yeah.
it was since the Lindholm trade, I believe, was the breakdown. He had 12 and Kadri had 11, something like that, in 10 games.
Hey, we're much happier with what's happening than
He's pulling the rope in the right direction. He does not look like a man that got lost amongst NHLers wandering around a playing surface, getting in some cardio. He's pulling the rope.
It's from Stewart. Hey, Rhett, when you make pizza at home, do you make your own dough?
I have. I rarely make pizza at home. Pizza's kind of a specialty item.
Yeah.
And
A lot of good pizza out there.
there's lots of people that make a damn fine pizza. And I take joy in ordering that damn fine pizza.
Is there a particularly unique to Buffalo style or flavor or order of pizza topping?
No, just it's always the New York pizza where it's
Okay, yeah.
thinner and the cheese. And
Bigger.
then they fry the pepperoni before baking the
Oh,
pepperoni.
yeah. Crunchy.
Nice move.
Mhm.
I have my, if you want a pen, you write it down.
Yeah.
For what?
Pizza dough.
Yeah,
No,
with
I
you.
don't give a shit about your
Oh.
pizza.
Well, it's not too different than making buns. You just got to do a different shape at the end, right?
No, it's different.
Okay. I got a pen still.
I don't know that you're going to be making pizza dough.
All right. It's Ask Rhett anyway.
It's true.
You didn't care.
Sorry, I lost it here. Go back. There we go.
Yeah.
So that was a no on
No, I don't
Huberdeau?
want, no.
Huberdeau
By the way, he's
and
on pace
pizza
for
dough?
52 points. It should be less than last year's 55, but that's kind of ignoring that he was awful the first half and has been much better.
Let's
of
get
late.
60 plus, and we'll let it slide, and then we'll hope for more next year.
If you want to hang around a point per game for the whole second half, there will be hope
Yes.
moving forward.
Hey, Rhett. This is from Eric. I've seen a lot of the European players dressing very fancy when they come to the rink. I would guess again NHL.
Pasternak.
Where would Kipper rank in the well-dressed European category?
He was dressed good for a while because the shoveler worked downtown at one of those fancy stores, and he gave her a credit card. And I told her, much like Kipper did to Dion with the drinks,
Go to town.
I told her, you feel free to spend as much as you want, honey. Take home a big fat commission check.
Wow, I did not know about this chapter. Of the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
She's had a few little side hustles.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. It was awesome. I loved it. He goes, just tell her to pick some stuff. So I said, you spend as much. I think there were watches and suits. And oh, yeah.
And this was when he was into the nice contract.
Yeah, he was
the big one.
He was still, holy F.
Oh, yeah. And what did you buy me here? Well, did you look good, Mika?
It's quite a situation that Warner's got going. No, it wasn't. I think I asked you this already. Didn't you sell him a car? Or he bought a car,
He bought my car.
and didn't pay for it.
No, he paid me
Oh, did he?
for it, but he absolutely hosed me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I was okay being hosed because in my back of my head, I'm like, he's probably made me.
Yeah.
Right?
Royal.
The couple grand that I didn't get
Comes out in the wash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was funny though when he came over to drive it. We're pulling out of the garage, and it all of a sudden, what's that burning smell? And we went half a block, and it shut down.
Oh,
Price just went down. And that's when then we went back inside, pushed it in the garage, and started drinking. It was the night before a game, and his youngest stood on the table and pissed off it onto the rug during supper.
Kids.
Yeah, but we were having fun, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
35 million that last deal. 6 years work.
From Kevin for Ask Rhett. I had leftover pulled pork and used it for quesadillas. It was good, but I think chicken is the better option. What is your option for the meat in a quesadilla?
Don't make quesadillas very often, but pulled pork doesn't sound like a traditional.
I can see how it
You
could
turn it
be.
into carnitas or barbacoa,
I think
something
you
like
got
that.
to
Need more
add
spice,
some,
right?
some fried peppers and onions and stuff in there if you're doing it.
That sounds like a fajita, though.
It does,
Yeah.
but aren't all those? I'm sorry, but
Well, the
it's-
same family. Yeah.
that-
kind of a
and a
thing,
lot of it is. It's just how it's wrapped, like a
Mhm.
burrito and a taco, but in a tamale, and like there's a lot of them are.
Empanadas open ended and sauce
Yeah.
on
Because a
top.
fajita, you're kind of using the raw tortilla. With the quesadilla, you're grilling it
Quesadilla would be
You're
2
frying it.
rounds, and then
Yeah.
you cut it
or
into
fold it in
triangles.
half.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Cut into triangles.
I don't know what this is. Hey, Rhett, my hangout was Delectable Delights, the one with the yellow awning. My buddies owned it. Ralph and Sanjay say hello. Do you have any idea?
That's about the lights.
Is that,
Sort of a greasy parlor. What do we got there?
I don't know. Delectable Delights? Is that like the sun?
I forget a lot of things.
Coffee shop.
From Terry. Back up. Hey,
Yeah.
Rhett, have you tried the PB&J French toast sandwich yet?
Oh, wow.
I have not. No, I'm not. That's very sweetsy.
I was going to say, and then if you're putting like syrup on top of that,
Yeah.
oof.
Powdered sugar.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah. If you saw Iggy drink, what was his favorite drink?
Oh, I don't think he has a favorite drink.
Yeah.
I think he'd have the odd beer, maybe a vodka here and there.
Well, if you let's say you guys are out and about, you want to buy Kipper a beer, or you want to buy Kipper a drink. Hey, thanks for the
Vodka.
memories.
Mm.
Vodka on the rocks.
I think he actually liked vodka crayons, vodka crayon soda.
Yeah, sounds about
Vodka
right.
Red
Refreshing
Bulls.
beverage.
Vodka Red Bulls happen the odd time too.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Pick you up.
You know what? He's a simple man. Doesn't need anything
He
too crazy.
no. We'll get him started on the BBBs.
Yeah, very nice. That'll do it. Thank you for Bonton Meats for getting us a little Ask Rhett for us
And for everything yesterday.
Oh my God. Jeez. Spread.
for you name it. Ask Rhett at flamesnation.ca is the email address to get your questions in every Thursday. We do Ask Rhett. Let's take a look at our Betway bets. There are 12 non-flame games tonight.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah.
What about the Flames game?
No Flames game.
Okay.
Tonight.
So
Are
12.
they off? Okay.
Yeah, they're off tonight. So, Betway app, get it on your phone, get it wherever you need it, wherever you're most proficient. Is it at a desktop? Is it on a tablet?
It's close by wherever you are.
Wherever you are, it's very close by. First class that with Betway. Bet the responsible way with Betway. A couple different games. Speaking of Buffalo, they are in Tampa Bay. Braden Point's on a bit of a heater.
And the Lightning are in a spot here, fellas. Devils have games in hand and are not that far back of the final wild card. Lightning are clinging. Last playoff spot. Detroit's been on a heater.
5 goals in Point's last 7 games. He's on a 9-game point streak. But in terms of goals, we'll take an any-timer for a plus 135. And Winnipeg at Dallas, the Stars.
Won't have Chris Tanev yet. Sorry, go ahead.
What's that?
Go ahead.
The Winnipeg Jets are at the Dallas Stars tonight. The Stars are 1-3-3 in their last 7. The Jets have won 4 in a row. Jets are plus money on a money line at plus 110. I'll take the Jets because the Stars won't have Chris Tanev yet.
Maybe for Saturday. Certainly by next week.
There we go.
The holdup.
Top-notch reporting. I'm going to focus in on the Dikembe Mutombo Bowl or whatever the goaltender in Montreal is. He was an old Panther back in the day, I believe. Kachuk on an absolute heater in the new year. Remember, he stuck at like 8 goals back in December or whatever. He's still getting points here or there.
Sternum.
Ron Sternum, he's been much better in the new year. Plus 140 for 2+ points. And another guy that's really come on strong in the second half, Uri Slavkovsky, who I think we were using the B word with. Bust? He's been excellent of late, really coming into his own, and the points and goals have followed. He's even money to get a single point against Rhett's old Panteros in Sunrise, Florida.
There you go. Plus money around the board. Just finding value for you everywhere.
Trying.
Those are our Betway bets. You can use them. You can not use them. But bet the responsible way with Betway on the Betway app, wherever you, whatever you want to do.
See, McDavid finally scored. That incredibly horrid run of 22 points in 9 games is over.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's finally snapped out of
really good to see him not struggling finally.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't a 5-on-5 goal, though.
Yeah.
Play that way in the playoffs. No 3-on-3 there.
So with that said, 12 games tonight, but it doesn't mean maybe you're not going to do maybe something else with hockey. I don't know. It's DoorDash. DoorDash, it comes right to your door, whatever it is you want, when you want, from where you want, whenever you want it. And right now, for people who are watching and listening, Barn Burner, hey, how about this? Look at this deal. Limited time, though. 25% off your first order of $15 or more and 0 delivery fees with the promo code NATION25. NATION25 triggers that deal. So what is on the menu for DoorDash?
It's the Bruce Cassidy Bowl, I believe, in Vegas. No, in Boston, as the Golden Knights are facing Meth Bear, the Bruins.
Gotcha.
Could be a Stanley Cup preview. 5 o'clock start there for that one. Winnipeg, Dallas, we talked about. That's a nice Central Division clash. Both those teams vying for top spot in the division with Colorado. That's going to be a nice race to the finish for home ice and who gets to play a wild card. Minnesota, Nashville, 2 teams entangled in a wild card chase and race. Nashville currently holds wild card 2. Minnie's been rolling a little better of late since getting a bit healthier. And finally, the Kings and the Canucks. Vancouver's 500 since the Lindholm deal.
Hate to see it.
He's not been
Tore up.
great. Is he pouty there? How could he be pouty there?
I don't know.
Can't be pouty there.
Is he not trying? Was he?
Maybe he doesn't want to be there either.
It's a lot of
He didn't get to
sweets.
pick.
Didn't get to pick.
Such a nice. It's a.
He'll get to
beautiful
pick this
city.
summer.
He will get to pick.
I don't think he'll get to pick his salary, but he'll get to pick his market. And Canucks just okay since the deadline and since the All-Star break in the trade. And the Kings, we just saw this will be their 3rd and 4 nights as they Edmonton, Calgary, now Vancouver.
Right. There you go.
That's what's on the menu for DoorDash.
Dash that for the win with DoorDash. Get the DoorDash app and use it today. I saw it because Kent Wilson was on with me the other night for Afterburner,
Yeah.
and we got talking. I guess kind of got into the Manjapani discussion and how things are going there. And then I saw he was on X yesterday, kind of interacting with some people. Talking
Manjapani
about,
or Kent?
Kent.
Okay.
Talking about Elias Lindholm and the notion of how much money he's maybe cost himself. If in fact there was a high $8-9 million contract from Craig Conroy at some point, does he get that? It's a max 7-year deal. What does it look like? And I guess I hadn't really thought about it, just kind of out of sight, out of mind. I don't really think about that now because it was clear he was not going to get 9. I don't know what it looks like now because there's story to be written. He could be very good for them in the playoffs and then earn some of that back.
I think that's probably the key. If he wants to make that kind of dough, he can probably go get it with a great playoff run, but not the way he's going.
Man, I don't know. Like, I don't know what kind of vibes you guys have around Vancouver, but this is going to be the first time for a lot of that core in the playoffs, outside of one weird little one in the bubble in Edmonton.
Yeah.
And it's like they don't have that momentum they had in the first half. Every fifth puck isn't going in like it was in the fall. I love their goalie. Quinn Hughes is a star. Sounds like Pettersson's extension is going to get done. He's an RFA this summer, 1 year away from UFA. But like, would anyone be surprised if they got bounced in round 1 by like a red hot LA or someone? Like, just
they don't
kind of feels like 2018 Flames, or like, yeah, okay, you won the West, but
they don't feel undeniable.
No, whereas you look at Vegas and Edmonton and Colorado and Dallas, and I'm like, I like those teams more than Vancouver.
Yeah, not sure about the Oilers yet either, but
I mean, they'll add.
But for Lindholm, that stock has dropped.
So if let's say he was a 9 guy, that's what he wanted, and Connie said I can't go to 9, and he's like, well, I'm worth 9. So 9 times 8 would be 72 million, and let's say on the market now he's 7.5 times 7, so that would be like 53 million ish. That's almost 20 million. That's 19 million bucks he's left on the table. That's a lot of people's career earnings that are,
and that's maybe worst case.
That's the high end and the low end.
Maybe gets 8. Yeah. Maybe he wasn't getting 9.
But even mid-season, Frank was confident his next deal would be a bigger number than Hanifn's. I'm not there anymore.
Yeah.
Hanifn's had the career year, and Lindholm's had probably the worst since he moved to center ice.
And you wonder how much of that is maybe part of the pouting.
Sees that he's not.
It's like
but it's clearly in his control. Like you still have 6 weeks in this season. Feel free to go play your ass off and do something.
And if you're one of those last 4 teams left, everyone is watching every shift and everything is under a microscope. If you could get to a conference final and play well, nobody cares what you did in Calgary in January.
No.
Nobody.
Teams love playing for guys that playoff performers.
Yes. I mean, Blake Coleman here. He won 2 cups in a row, and they gave him a 6-year contract. He's a great third liner.
Remember Fernando Pisani in Edmonton, right?
Yeah, the third line in Anaheim. It was Moen and Paulson and like Niedermeyer, like, and it was Barclay Goodrow, 6-year deal. Yanni Gord and Blake Coleman. Like, when there's only 4 teams to watch and all these teams are winning and one of them's going to lift trophy, GMs fall in love with these guys. Yeah. If somehow Vancouver's last man standing, and if you're the Calgary Flames, you'd love a Vancouver-Dallas conference final because those are your 2 conditional picks. Vancouver gets to the conference final. The 4th becomes the 3rd. Dallas gets to the final. You get an extra 3rd in that deal for Tanev. Like, there's your dream matchup there.
Yeah, sure.
Rooting interests. They're mid-round picks.
Not sure I can cheer for Vancouver. I don't hate them now. Don't know if I can cheer for them.
No, I'm not cheering.
Just for a 4th to a 3rd.
If we could have an Edmonton, Vancouver, I would be very comfortable knowing that something would be burning at the end of that series. Yeah. Somewhere.
And at the end of the day, I know there were some people a little bit concerned that maybe Chris Tanev would go to Edmonton as Craig can't do it. Craig, you can't do it. You can't do it, right? Craig didn't do it.
ABE, and you were up at Edmonton.
So sleep well knowing that Dallas is the final destination. But they could trade him, I guess.
That's what I wondered, if someone would go take him.
Stars will not trade Tanev.
2
firsts from Edmonton. Shit.
You know what's more likely is Dallas also adding Hanifn. What have they taken out of their prospect pile or picks that they can't now get Hanifn with? They still have their first. They still have their top 3 prospects. They still could add to that decor.
What a steal! Not a
and
steal,
now you
but
push
what a pickup for a team to add Hanifn and Tanev.
Because they're a pair.
Tandem.
You know how they play. And then Suter and Lindell become your 3rd pair, and you're like, shit, you're deep.
Yeah, I don't know what it's another we're so tightly focused. I don't know what the outside world thinks of Noah Hanifn.
It's a 2.
Tanev's pretty easy. He's a defense first play. You love him. He's a warrior. He's this and that. You're not going to get any points, but he is what he is. You know, are you needing Hanifn to play 25 minutes? Do you want points? What do you? Because we heard from Frank the other day that Toronto not in on Noah Hanifn. Okay,
can't afford
think
At
you
that
could
point?
still
Okay.
you could just that's not a player that they're in for.
Well, they're in cap hell too. I don't know that anyone's got a tougher time adding than they do. And if you're Dallas, the other thing is like, how much cap space did you really eat? You're paying for a quarter of what's left on Tanev's
It's a
deal.
great trade.
It's
for them.
25% salary.
It really is
It's incredible.
And maybe you don't go more than a round. Maybe it's
Well, it's not going to be easy, but
it's a second rounder.
still a good.
Noah Hanifn's in the top 25 in minutes played per game in the NHL, and he's doing it in tough minutes against other teams' top lines while having a career year offensively, I'd argue.
And so many teams have had scouts watching the Flames for so long, and he's looked good
It's been
for
great.
quite a while now, right?
This is the best he's looked as a Flame.
Yeah.
Like he probably had more secondary apples that year that the 3 forwards all had 40 goals, or the 18 season when that top line had Monahan, Lindholm, and Gaudreau, because you're just on the ice when more goals are going in. Those are very high scoring teams. But when you look at where they're middle of the pack scoring, which feels high for this forward group, he's having a really, really great offensive season.
Tomorrow, Friday, wine shirt day. I believe we'll have Darren Dreger back after being off last week. We'll do the Great Clips inbox. If you have questions,
Comments,
whatever about, maybe you need to know about how do you get a Boomer t-shirt, about collecting wear coats, something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you need to know. There's the email address, greatclipsinbox@flamesnation.ca. You can get your questions in, and we will dig into those tomorrow. Maybe even hockey questions if you want. I know.
We can mix it up.
Yeah. We can
Dreger a week out of the deadline.
That's right.
Almost to the minute. It'll be 1 p.m. next Friday.
There you go. And we were kicking around before. Oh, so are we doing the show? Are we going to go start later? We're going to start earlier. We're going to go longer. If a Hanifn deal is done before then,
Go watch Frank.
I don't know what else.
Frank will have it.
Connie got his work done.
And if you've seen what Daily Faceoff does on deadline day, your Remchuk will host. They'll have a huge cast of guests that roll through, and right in the corner they got the insider box where Frankie's just grinding, sweating over phones.
Yeah.
What's the conditional pick? Money retained.
That's how it is.
You want to watch him sweat? They got that for you.
Or he's doing something that looks like that.
Island's lunch.
Yeah. All right, buddies. That'll do it. See you tomorrow.